Okay, sup people. We are back with another live stream. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and well, a proper one. And today I've got some guests. So I've got Elliot from IMO Reviews.
Hey bud, how you doing?
Good, thank you for joining. I'm
Thank
a
you for
bit
having me
rusty with
on.
this. I haven't done this for a long ass time, so bear with me. And then,
Me too, to be fair.
yeah, another special guest. We got Jackson from Horsetooth Cinema.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining me as well. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to talk about random shit, just shoot the shit for a bit. We're going to answer your guys' questions. And yeah. So the first thing I want to ask is, Elliot, what have you been watching in the last week?
Well, I'm well and truly in the Deadpool Wolverine hype, so I've been drawn back to the old X-Men movies, actually. I haven't watched them in any particular order. It's just out of, I haven't seen that one in ages. Let's put that on. So it's been a real scattering of X-Men lately. So I've even tried a little bit of that X-Men 97, the animated series that they recently brought back. It was okay. It's mostly for nostalgic purposes, to be honest. It did make me go back to my childhood of watching the animated series. So it's just been X-Men, more X-Men, basically, over here at the moment, and occasionally broken up by Mrs. IMO's daytime TV programs.
So is that everything you've been watching the last week? Sort of X-Men related things? Yeah,
pretty much. We'll probably try and watch something tomorrow night, me and Mrs. IMO, because we've both got the evening off, and we try and get a movie night in somewhere. So we'll probably try and do something a little bit more out there, a bit more thinky tomorrow night, I'd have thought.
Mm-hmm.
I saw on your Letterboxd timeline that you'd been watching the X-Men movies, and but yeah, I did notice it was like kind of out of order. Like I didn't see the first one on there. It was like 2, and I haven't seen any of them, so I need to. That's something I need to watch up on. So I'm kind of forgetting the order.
But they're all over the place as it is. They're all over the place as it is. I don't think even they know the timeline, which they kind of make fun of in Deadpool and Wolverine a little bit. So.
Yeah.
It allowed for creative liberty to just sort of connect your own imagination to it and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Now we're in our own sequel here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Those are some great watches. Jackson, what about you? I've been seeing your reviews, and they are quite funny. I like reading.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially the tags. The tags are funny.
Oh like, yeah, no, I'm trying to be more creative with those. Leon and I are both like he has so many tags. I think he saw that I have quite a few, and then he just like went to town. Like he's the king of tags. But last week or so, let's see. I watched Don John, which I'd never seen.
I like that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. It was like for the first. I think what I said was like for the first like kind of hour of it, I was like, or maybe less than that. I thought it was a little bit like obvious in what it was doing. It was just a bit too like kind of hitting you over the head with it. But as it kind of went on, like I really liked the Julianne Moore character in it. Like I thought that their interactions were really sweet, so I ended up enjoying it. I caught up with The Strangers Chapter 1. Are you familiar with this, Elliot? I don't know if I've seen you watch this.
Yes, this recent release, the Chapter 1 thing. Oh yes, yeah, we watched that absolute abomination.
It was horrible. But it's like, but the thing is, because they initially planned it as a trilogy, and I'm like, how do you take that premise and like, yeah, we're gonna make a trilogy, like 3 90-minute movies based on that? I'm so curious.
I think they've already filmed the second one and third one. I think it was one of those where they filmed them like all in one big sitting. But
yeah, it was like a Horizon thing kind of. But that makes like more sense as to why you would do that. And
this one, I can only imagine it's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, isn't it? Hoping for the best.
Yeah, it's kind of like Winnie the Pooh. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Last cinema watch I had was I went. It was my first time at an Alamo Drafthouse, which is just great. Like if you guys are ever in the States, like go. It's awesome.
Aren't they owned by Sony now, I think, right?
I think they are. But I don't know. I mean, I think they put out a statement trying to say that it's not going to change their business model too much. Or I mean, it had me worried when it was announced because I was like, but we'll see how that goes. But they're awesome. But yeah, I went and saw Twisters there. which
Nice.
is like a, you know, it's a dumb movie. I don't think it's much dumber, maybe a little bit, than the '90s one, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I liked more than like the kind of twister action was very like CG and kind of not very physical, but I enjoyed like the character stuff in it. I had a good time for the most part.
Hmm.
I watched something I'd been meaning. I hadn't seen any Jacques Demy movies for a while,
Yeah.
and I watched Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which I
Yes.
loved. Like
Yeah, man.
it's strange because it's like it's not what I was expecting. Like I am a fan of like musicals, especially like from the '50s, like Gene Kelly kind of era, but but this was like not that at all stylistically. Like there's no dancing in it really. It's basically like characters are just like singing normal dialogue, which took some getting used to. But the actual story is like really, really emotional, and just like the look of the film is great. Like I really loved it. And let's see, I got a few more here. I showed Leon a movie called Sleepwalk with Me, which is by one of my favorite comedians, Mike Birbiglia. And it's like it feels like a first feature for sure, but it's actually there's some interesting like directorial choices in it. And it's just like a really good adaptation of his like stand-up album, which is just all like this one story he tells about kind of him dealing with like having a sleep disorder and like that intersecting with relationship stuff in his life. Yeah, it's been a while since I had seen it, but it was really good. Rewatched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, you know, one of my favorite movies. Great. I watched Pedro Almodovar's Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down.
Nice.
Do you guys know the premise of this movie?
No.
No.
He is the king of just like
Weird
like
shit.
eyebrow raising premises. Yeah, like he this one is like a Antonio Banderas plays a mental patient that not escapes. I think he's just released from the hospital, and he wants to like get his life together and start a family. But to do this, he decides to kidnap this like pretty actress basically, and like kind of over time like just convince her like, yeah, you like this kind of thing. And the weird thing is it's basically Stockholm syndrome. Like that kind of ends up happening. It's bizarre, but it's weirdly funny in like how dark it is and everything. And then the last one last night, this is like the most random watch of all time. I had some friends that watched this recently. It's a movie starring Elvis from the '60s.
Oh, wow.
It's called Clam Bake. I won't necessarily go into what it's about, but there's a big like it's not very good. But it's just kind of my review was just the song which Elvis keeps singing throughout, which is just like clam bake, gonna have a clam bake. So that's what I've been watching.
Oh, some great watches there, to be honest with you. Very
One of those songs that'll keep you up at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're struggling to sleep.
Yeah, that literally, it's
like that is a very delectable and very strange bunch of films. They're far different from each other, which I kind of like. In terms of me, I watched Sausage Party.
Oh, God.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Double feature
Hate
that
that
with
shit.
clam bake. No.
No, Sausage Party. I think I wrote in my review. What was it I said? I said like the Lego movie for racists and homophobes, which
Nah.
it practically is.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm curious.
Oh, God. I watched it in cinema. That was one of the weirdest experiences I've
One of
ever
the
had. It's-
worst movies I've ever seen in my goddamn life, and I've seen a lot of bad shit, and that's up there. Deadpool and Wolverine. First, I've seen it twice now. First time I was like, nah, it's not for me. But second time round, I came around to it. I actually quite enjoyed it. I think it's purposefully working with the cameo bait in a way of which I don't think No Way Home did. No Way Home just kind of shoved it in your fucking face. This one is like, yeah, we're going to shove it in your face, but we know we're stupid with it. And we know that it's trash. Like, literally, I'm not going to say certain things, but when certain people show up, they have this moment where you're meant to clap. and it's purposefully done that. Elliot will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. The film's well and truly got its tongue in its cheek with everything it does. Pretty much, it's winking at the screen all the time. It does kind of buy itself a pass. It's sometimes it crosses the line and just feels a bit lazy, but they do somehow get away with it because they are winking at you and saying, we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, we know exactly what the fuck we're doing. And even Ryan Reynolds, he's on this press tour of not caring about anything. He just says what he wants. And I kind of enjoy the movie now. I look at it as like cinema escapism, but the brain rot kind. And that's fine. I think like potential brain rot cinema escapism is fine. It almost fits into the category of like the movies like San Andreas and Black Adam, where it's like nothing fucking matters, you know. But I enjoyed that. Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, okay.
Great,
Yeah.
great movie. Might be a new comfort watch. Just Meryl Streep being Meryl Streep, just walking around being like, "Oh, look how elitist I am." It's very funny.
Is it Anne Hathaway that's in it as well?
Yes.
Or yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I must admit
she's great.
that's one of the few DVDs my sister had that I actually didn't mind being put on. I think when I was younger, I'd pretend I minded. Like, oh no, not that again. But deep down, I was like, it's actually all right. This movie, I quite enjoy it.
Oh, I love this movie. Next we got Boiling Point.
Oh
with
yeah,
Stephen Graham.
Yeah. Mm.
As a junior chef, I'm like, yeah, this is real to the struggle. But it all just feels like a big pressure cooker on purpose. So I kind of like that one. Columbus. I watched with a friend.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I've got a friend who was just he's been working in the kitchen for a while. And he was just promoted to sous chef at his restaurant, and now so he's kind of like in charge of everything in terms of orders and just like I want to watch something like that with him, or like The Bear, something that just really gets like the stress of the kitchen.
Yeah, The Bear is very stressful.
Yeah, I've worked in a kitchen, but I was just a disher when I was in high school. I was never like in charge.
I was a
anything.
disher, and now I'm a chef. So
Yeah,
it's like, but I watched The Bear now, and I'm thinking, God, is this right for me? Do I really want this? But, you know,
we've all worked in restaurants. I was also a dishwasher when I was 12 years old. I got like absolutely no money for it.
Damn.
But to be fair, it was like 10 hours a week.
Old, slave labor, child labor.
It was for a family friend. But yeah,
I was going to say like child labor laws.
Hidden away in the back. Yeah.
Well, it's especially like that like being a disher, especially when you're carrying stuff around the kitchen, like it's tough on your back. It's there's lots of like it's really, really physical.
The worst part I remember of the kitchen I worked in, they had a really low door frame, and if you're talking to someone and you walk through the door, bang, every time. It happened to everyone. Everyone would walk through going like that straight away after. So yeah, that was the biggest death trap in the whole place, to be honest with you.
I wonder if that's because like in I've noticed this in when I've been in different parts of Europe before, that like a lot of just older buildings, the door frames were always short because people were shorter back then. Is it one of those things?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, okay, I think it was. It was a very old building. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Columbus with a friend of mine.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It's my number one on Letterboxd now.
Great.
It stuck with me for so goddamn fucking long. So rewatching it for like the 5th time. It's so good. And my friend was crying over the phone. So that was fun. She was crying watching it. She was like, watch Blue Beetle. I wrote in my review, I never expected imperialism to be a main theme in a film that could have easily premiered on Cartoon Network in 2012. And it
does give like Spy Kids vibes, even though that's not really Spy Kids is Disney. Never mind. But yeah,
I think Spy Kids is Lionsgate. I think, is it? Wait.
Oh, maybe I don't know. I've seen it. But
I should know this. I grew up on those films. I should know this.
Yeah.
Those are Miramax. Oh, Okay.
Did Robert Rodriguez do all three of them? I feel like he did.
I think he did all four of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
there is four.
Yeah,
That's
there's
right.
Yeah, there is
more,
four.
aren't there?
Unfortunately, there's
Pardon me.
two which don't matter. The first two, they're base cinema. Like Steve Buscemi in the second one, just doing a speech about absolutely nothing. It's very funny.
What's the one with
Um,
Elijah Wood turning up? That's
I
the
think
one I
that's the
remember the
The
third
third
most.
one.
Yeah,
Third one.
one.
That's
with the whole
that's
like.
the one that stays in my head the most.
Oh, yeah.
I love the third one when he's like, "I never got her email address," when she just fades away. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's very 2006.
Yeah, it'd play well now, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Now it would be like, I didn't get a TikTok account or something like that. But yeah, Blue Beetle. I enjoy Blue Beetle. I think it's pretty sweet. It's got a nice family dynamic to it. George Lopez. I wish he was in everything.
Yeah, he's great.
But the villain sucks. The villain sucks. But that's kind of what you gotta expect of movies like this now. Is that the villains aren't gonna be great, and the visual effects definitely looks like the Ben 10 movies I used to watch as a kid. Definitely looks like that, but I have fun with it. Then I watched The Suicide Squad, not 2016 one, because The Suicide Squad is excellent. It's definitely the best DC film they've made in a long time, and I'm glad that James Gunn is running it because he seems to know what he's doing. He seems to understand the tone of these characters too. So hopefully he can splash some color and light into them.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the Suicide Squad yet. I when it came out, I just assumed it had to do with like the 2016 one. Like it was going to be more of that kind of thing. It was before I was actually. I was kind of late to checking out like the Guardians films and stuff like that, but those are all great. Yeah, like he's definitely one of the best directors for superhero movies now, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Elliot? Do you like the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a huge improvement on the original one, which I actually strangely don't mind revisiting because it's just such a funny watch.
I think The
It's
Room
that
is an
bad.
improvement on that shit. Like, let's
Yes,
be honest.
pretty much. And also it's even funnier when you look into like all the background story of how bad it went. So for that reason, I will revisit that original Suicide Squad, but that's the only reason. And this reboot, I guess, remake is so much better, much more what that first film should have been. So yeah, I don't know. Are they going to make a second one? I would have thought they're going to. I think it was quite successful.
It didn't make much
sort
money
of.
because
It was like a COVID release, right? Or like
yeah, it was COVID.
like early
HBO
2021.
Max.
I thought, yeah.
They
that
put it
might
on
have pulled the
HBO
rug
Max
out.
the same day as release in theaters, so of course everybody pirated it. I paid to go see it because I wanted to see it on the big screen, and that was a great way to watch it. But yeah, it's a great movie. Then I watched Election for like the 5th time, and it might be my favorite comedy of all time, tied with Big Lebowski. I've seen Election so many times, and it makes me laugh every time. Might be Alexander Payne's best movie, and always will be. I watched Daddy-O with what's that name? Dakota Johnson
is
and
that
Sean Penn.
the Sean Penn? Yeah, I saw that advertised.
It wasn't that great. It's basically just like right out of the bat, hi, take me to this place. Oh, but first, let me explain my daddy issues. And it goes on for like an hour and a half, and nothing's really achieved with it. But Dakota Johnson's good. Sean Penn's fine. But I'm just like, whatever with it. It goes nowhere. It just feels like trauma dumping. I watched Chef with Jon Favreau.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
I can suspend disbelief for a little while with movies, but I can't for the life of me believe for 1 minute that Jon Favreau can get with Sofia Vergara and Scarlett Johansson. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Does knock some marks off.
Yeah, but the movie's good. It's feel good. It's very chill. Yeah, it was just a nice nice film to watch if you like food. And then I watched Janet Planet yesterday, which is an A24 film. Watched that with a friend, and that was great as well. Very tender, very sweet. Um, kind of fit into the category of like this could easily be a Sean Baker film if it wasn't raunchy, or anything like that. It feels like Florida Project ish, but you take out all of the swearing and all of that shit. That's basically what this is, and it's really nice.
Interesting.
It's really nice. So yeah, those are all of my watches.
A lot
Thank you
of
guys.
like food related stuff in there. I like it.
That was unintentional. It basically just showed up on Amazon Prime. All of these, some of them, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in the comments. We're gonna get to them.
Yeah,
So we
it's
got
going well.
Tyler Carter, drummer, saying yo.
How's it going?
My dad's shouting. We got It's Nikki YT, aka Rhodey. Watching the X-Men franchise last month was a chore due to how inconsistent the films can be. Agreed. I
Yeah.
like them personally, even the third one. I think the third one is goofy shit, but it's funny. What do you guys think about the X-Men movies?
Yeah, I have not seen any of them.
Oh, except for Jackson, he hasn't seen a single.
The reason I really do want to watch them, mainly because I really want to see Logan. I think I will love Logan, but I need to. The other ones, I'm sure I'll find some joy into. But yeah.
What about you, Elliot?
No, I completely agree with the comment. That's exactly why I've been watching them in complete random selection. It's just, do I fancy that one? I don't remember that one being that good. And that's what's been why I've picked them in the way I have. So, yeah, it can be a difficult one to get through. I have started a Letterboxd ranking. I don't know how long it will take me to finish it because I always do this. I start a Letterboxd ranking, get halfway through it, and then get distracted and do something else entirely. So,
yeah.
Are they like canonical? Like, or like, do they kind of like, does one lead into another one really? Because I know like I often will watch like the 80s and 90s like Tim Burton and Schumacher Batman movies completely out of order because it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
is it like that?
It's a little bit like Batman actually, in the sense of like you've got the Keaton run and then you've got the Nolan run and things like that, because you've got the Patrick Stewart X-Men and then you've got the James McAvoy X-Men. So
yeah.
All the ones with Patrick Stewart, there is a canonical story there, and all the ones with McAvoy is a separate canonical story. And
yeah,
I don't.
The ones
really
with McAvoy are
just
like the ones with McAvoy are just whatever, because they're just. I like Days of Future Past. I think that one's great. Apocalypse stunk. X-Men Dark Phoenix is even worse.
Oh, yeah.
First Class is fine. So they're kind of middle of the road stuff. It depends on who they actually get to make them. But again, it's like they're kind of all over the place, all over the shop. And I think they're kind of fine that way.
You've got some
because it doesn't feel
as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you have to do a million hours of catch up or homework to actually get them. Kind of like what the MCU is doing. But yeah. He also says, I roadmapped the X-Men timeline recently. Don't do it, you will die.
Yeah, that is an ask.
Yeah, there's a lot of damn movies. I've seen videos on YouTube where they try and explain it in 20 minutes. They can barely do it because there's a lot. Not Your Normal Geek. Hello. We have the joy of watching Strangers Chapter 2 later in the year. I believe I'm overwhelmed with excitement.
I could correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw news recently that it got canceled. Like that they're not actually going to release chapters 2 and 3. Leon like expressed immense disappointment at this in our group chat recently. Because I don't know if I guess he does kind of like it, just because like he genuinely thinks it's better than the original, which I don't know if I agree, but I can see an argument because I don't really like the original anyway. And he just thinks it's very fun to watch. Like it's just a funny bad movie. And he was like, but so I don't know. Maybe we're not getting it. I don't know.
Funny bad movies are good though. I quite enjoy them sometimes.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree that Strangers Chapter 1 is funny bad. It's got its moments. Like there's like some of the dialogue between the couple is pretty funny, but I don't know. It didn't quite get to that status for me.
We got Nerdy Film Girl. Hey Tracy,
Oh, hey, yeah, how's
how
it
you
going?
doing?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, gents. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you too. Is Hugh actually going to play Wolverine until he's 90, or is that him done for good? I can kind of see just Feige wanting to continue it because look at how much money this has made. But I personally don't want to see him till he's 90. In other stuff I do, but not
He's
as
55
Wolverine.
now. I had no idea he was that old.
Is he? I thought he was
Yeah.
older than that.
You thought he was old? Yeah, I mean, Hollywood, like, it is kind of crazy how
Magic.
young old people can live.
Magic. But I can see him being done for good after this one. I don't know if it's necessarily. I don't know how many times he wants to push himself through hell for this, but you know, I think he enjoys playing the character. And if they send him a lot of money, then I think he'll probably do it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one as well because especially with pleasing fans over such an important, integrally loved character, if they get that new casting wrong, they could have absolute hell to pay with the fandom. So they've got to tread carefully. Everyone loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. They're going to want to keep that as long as they possibly can because why spoil a good thing? But
Yeah.
there was what I did hear a long time ago. There was rumors of Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine, and I don't know how I feel about that at all. That's a weird one.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
goddamn weird. I don't know how I feel about that one.
I have such
I mean,
mixed opinions on Daniel Radcliffe's post Harry Potter choices. There's been a couple really bizarre ones, like Guns Akimbo, or like what's the Frankenstein?
Lost City?
No, the
he
Victor
did,
Frankenstein.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
oh my god, that's
Victor
horrible.
Frankenstein. Yeah,
Yeah.
the movie fucking reeks.
But I quite like Swiss Army Man actually. Like there's
Yeah,
me
some he's
too.
done that that I do like since, but
Yeah, again, it's like I don't really like the guy except for Harry Potter, I guess.
he's also in this movie called Imperium, where he plays a neo-Nazi.
yeah.
Or no, sorry, he plays a guy that's infiltrating like neo-Nazis, and he's actually really good in it. It's
Yeah, I
one of his
remember
more
that.
dramatic roles that I'm like, oh wow, okay, this guy can act.
He was quite good in Escape from Pretoria as well. I actually had to watch that one
haven't seen
because of university. It was part of the film course, but I ended up actually really enjoying it. He's quite convincing in it.
Cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
My mum came in and gave me my ID for some reason. Tracy saying I really enjoyed the Gun Suicide Squad, but sad Polka Dot Man got killed so early on. Yeah, spoiler for Jackson because he hasn't seen it. But
No worries.
I don't think he cares. That
I
much,
don't know
do
who
you?
it is. I'll probably forget it by the time I see the movie. So
But yeah, he was a great character. Don't get me started on Daddy-O. Yeah, Daddy. I've seen your review on Daddy-O. We'll need to talk about it at some point because there's a lot to talk about with that goddamn movie. That tip she gave him at the end was so... yeah. For context, she gave Sean Penn a tip. Because there's a whole through line of like, oh, people don't pay taxis with cash anymore. So she doesn't have any cash. She pays them with card and gives them a big ass tip, and they make it a big part of the film for some reason. And it's whatever. Tracy loved the chef. Me too.
my entire family loves that movie. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm like, I love movies about food, but I don't know. I need to check it out.
Yeah, it's I quite like Chef. Watched all the X-Men movies thinking there were going to be a ton of X-Men cameos in Deadpool Wolverine, but I was mistaken. I do love Brian Cox as the villain in the first X-Men. Yeah, I like him as what's his fucking name?
Striker.
Strike. Yeah.
Yeah,
It took me a while to figure out that was Logan Roy for a little while.
yeah, that's him.
Have you guys seen? I watched it this month for the first time. Have you guys seen Manhunter? The
No.
Michael Mann movie.
No, but Mrs. IMO loves that movie, and she keeps begging me to watch it.
Oh, definitely take her out. Like, definitely watch it with her. I mean, it's for me, it's like pretty on par with Silence of the Lambs. Honestly, it's like a great like Lecter story. And I would go as far as to say I like Cox a little bit more than I like Hopkins, just for different reasons. Like he plays it more. He's like a lot more subtle with some of the stuff that he does. He's creepy in like a more understated way. But yeah, Brian Cox is great, like in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mainly know him as Logan Roy now from Succession. That's basically what he's known for at this point. Cancelled. G Center has come early this year.
Yeah.
First Strangers Chapter 2.
Yeah. I hated Strangers Chapter 1. I thought it was awful, but I'm really curious, like what they're gonna do with this. Like the first one was kind of just a worse remake of the first movie, which is impressive. And then like I have no idea, because there's a sequel to the first Strangers. It's called Strangers Prey at Night. I actually like that one quite a bit more than the first one. Like there's some, it's more like it's almost like a Giallo kind of throwback a little bit. There's a really funny pool scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so I enjoyed that quite a bit. I don't know if they're just going to remake that, but
yeah,
they might do actually.
Of course, post-apocalyptic worlds aren't ideal to live in general, but which post-apocalyptic movie world would you less like to live through? Damn. Furiosa, because of your Australian accents. Like, I wouldn't know. Goddamn
That's
thing.
tough. The one I like the least. Oh,
I think is this the one I like the least? I mean, there's a lot of pretty scary ones, but probably The Road.
yeah.
I mean, that one's just like one of the bleakest like portrayals of an apocalypse.
That's just misery, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's just pure misery, and then there's like cannibals everywhere. It's like, no, like I don't want to.
Yeah.
Please no.
Just one of them where it's like, what? Why even do I want to survive? Actually, like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's part of I think what McCarthy was going for when he wrote the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might piggyback on with Jackson there. Actually, I can't think of anything worse than The Road. That is bleak from start to finish.
Yeah.
Brilliant film, though. To be fair,
I need to. I liked it decently. I need to go back and revisit it. I think I gave it like I do like full star ratings, and so but if it was like a out of 10, it'd probably be like a 7 out of 10. But I should watch it again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I need to check out the book, to be fair, because that's probably what's got it so elevated in my mind. Probably reading the book will make me go, oh, okay, bring it down a bit.
I need to get it. Like my dad's like a huge McCarthy fan. Like he we have all like he has like all his books in our house and everything. But the one I really need to read at some point is Blood Meridian, which was like it's like one of those movies that has been tried to be like, it's kind of seen as unfilmable. Imagine like Killers of the Flower Moon, but like a lot more graphic and kind of like an acid Western style a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
Like it's like that's a tough subject matter to tackle in that way.
Tough sell.
Yeah. I think Ridley Scott wanted to do it, but then he just couldn't find anybody that would finance it. So
yeah.
We got Winslow saying hello with the Winslow wave.
Oh, hey Winslow, how's it going?
Manhunter, Lambs, though I love both Man and Demi.
Yeah,
Have
I think I agree with that.
Demi movies? I've only seen Heat from Man. I haven't seen anything else. But
yeah, I mean, I need to see more Demi. Like I need to see. I haven't seen Stop Making Sense, which everybody I've heard just loves.
Oh, best
concert movie,
concert film ever made.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't seen a ton from it. But I think I slightly prefer Manhunter to Silence of the Lambs, but it's close. Like I really love both. So.
What about you, Jackson? Have you Jackson? Sorry. What about you, Elliot? Have you seen any? I'm getting I'm losing track of names.
I'm a little like you. I'd probably have to look up on Letterboxd and actually see their directorial works. I'm sure there'll be a few where I'm like, oh, I didn't know they did that one. Because when I look back on it, I'm like, how many Michael Mann films have I seen? It's probably like 2 off the top of my head. So
Yeah,
it's probably hard to say. I love Heat though. I think that's such a
yeah.
good movie.
He's
It's
he's my
so
favorite.
I just love
blockbustery,
it.
isn't it?
I love it when he drives around with the TV in his car and then he just
Yeah.
ends up fucking throwing it out.
He's
Like,
very mad that his ex-wife's new
Stole the
husband
TV.
is watching his
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, so he just takes it.
Yeah, I think I've seen 5 Man films. I've seen Heat, Manhunter, Collateral.
Collateral.
Oh,
yeah,
I've seen
that's-
Collateral. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
Collateral.
Great. Thief is and then Miami Vice. Yeah, those are. Yeah, and Miami Vice I need to revisit. Like, there's a lot of Man super fans that are like, that's the best one. I didn't. I found it very hard to grasp on the first few. It's a beautiful movie. I need to sit down with it again. But yeah.
My viewing experience of Miami Vice was, do you remember the PSP? I don't know if I'm going too far back here.
Yeah.
but the
Yeah, you can
PlayStation
watch movies on
Portable,
them, couldn't you?
You can
That's
watch
right,
movies on
yeah.
them, and I watched Miami Vice on a PSP, just
Oh my
exactly
God.
how he wanted it to be viewed.
Bro, we have
gonna
Rush
say,
Hour
that's
3 on the
not-
PSP.
Like, just given all the experimentation it does with digital, that's not the worst way to watch it. I wouldn't think. The Blu-ray
Made the
is
train
very
ride go
nice,
quickly.
but-
I remember we had Casino Royale on the PSP and it looked like dog shit, unfortunately. but,
yeah,
Just cropped poorly and everything.
yeah. Not seen the Road adaptation yet, but I need to see it. McCarthy's book is one of my favorites.
I don't know how many changes it makes or anything. There might be a few from what I've heard, but it seems just vibes wise like a pretty good adaptation of what I've heard from the book.
Definitely nails the tone by the sounds of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was a movie theory that you find interesting? That Woody from Toy Story is Rick Grimes in Walking Dead. I think someone made that theory. Or that Kevin McAllister from Home Alone is Saw or Jigsaw. That's a funny theory. I need to look up other theories because I have no idea.
Yeah, there was, a while back I was looking at tons of these because there's tons about Disney characters and how all of the Disney films actually somehow interlink with each other that I was reading
Pixar
about.
theory, I think it was called.
I think, and doesn't it all revolve around Lilo and Stitch or something like that? Stitch being an alien, there's some sort of connection about him, and because they did some promos where he flies past Jasmine and Aladdin on the flying carpet. There's all these little details that connect their movies together, which I don't know if they've done that on purpose and there is a bigger picture there, or if it is just sort of them having a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
I
was looking up some because I have one, but I can't say it because it would spoil the movie. And I don't think either of you guys have seen this. But the Vanishing,
no.
the Dutch like thriller about a woman who gets who basically disappears. So the Dutch movie is amazing. It's like one of my favorite movies in general, but also just like thrillers. But the director of it remade his own movie in the 90s, like as an American movie in English. And I think like Sandra Bullock, Jeff Bridges, all these like big stars were in it. And it's horrible. It is like, it's like he intentionally destroyed his own movie. And I have a theory of like how that all works, but I can't really say it without spoiling both films. So that might be mine.
Bro, there's so many. Like in The Dark Knight, the Joker is an Iraq war veteran, apparently.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
Ferris Bueller. Ferris is a figment of Cameron's imagination. Okay. Willy Wonka is a serial killer, someone's saying. Which, he is a creepy motherfucker, but I don't...
There's another one that like he gives Charlie the chocolate factory at the end because it's like he wants to like punish him basically, and like because it's like a life of isolation or whatever. Like,
bro,
that's
some people
certainly one
think
way
that
to read that movie.
some people think that Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer is Willy Wonka.
Oh, in the Tim Burton one, they do have that like mountain thing going on. That does look a lot like Snowpiercer, yeah.
Like, people really think that a Chris Evans film directed by Bong Joon-ho is Willy Wonka? Like, please. But that's a great question. Demi's got a bunch of good ones. Married to the Mob and Something Wilder Fun.
Oh,
You seen
something
those?
something wild I've heard is really good. I need to check that one out.
The Insider is terrific.
Oh yeah, I always get that confused with Spike Lee's The Inside Man. 'Cause they were both
Yeah.
released like around the same time. They both have, I think they both have similar posters. That both have Inside in the title. But yeah, that's the one where it's like about the tobacco industry or something like that. This guy like investigating that. Yeah, I've heard that's pretty good.
If you had the opportunity to play either a hero or a villain, which would you pick, and which character would your dream role would be your dream role? Personally, a villain. I think a villain would be cool because you can just work with it a lot easier if you're a hero. Because with a hero, it's basically just like, oh yeah, let's go save the day. But with a villain, there's a lot more to it. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't know.
yes. If it gets a bit sick and tiring on your 15th, 18th, 20th rescue of a cat in a tree. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet Captain America's thinking, oh please, I want to be the villain now. Like,
Yeah.
I've had enough of saving lives. Let me push someone off a cliff or something for once. Like, let me do something bad. What about you guys? What would you?
I'd probably be a villain, troublemaker all day. Yeah.
Yeah, I villain for me as well. I'm looking up though the other part of the question, which is like, which villain would you want to play?
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, because
just-
there are some that have got some downsides. Like you don't want to be the lizard, do you? Yeah.
Is I'm assuming this isn't exclusive to superhero movies. Like it can be any
yeah.
villain. I'm guessing.
I assume so. Yeah.
Oh, so like pick your power. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was looking at a list of just like movies with great villains. Anton Chigurh, I think, would be cool. I think that's just a great character.
That's
It'd be a
just
lot
one of
fun
the best villains ever. Anyway.
Well, it'd be fun to just like, I don't know if he did this, but it'd be fun to like method act that shit and like be on set and just like not like be violent, but just like creep people out with just talking very lowly.
Yeah. As soon as you hear him say coin, you're like, oh, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
You know exactly where you're going with the coin thing. So that's a good question as well.
Lots of Cormac McCarthy. That's another one.
Ryan coming out with the good questions tonight. And then the last question we got right now is Winslow looking forward to Trap? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Super excited.
Looks like the right amount of goofy.
Yeah.
I am a little. Oh, sorry, Jackson. You go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm actually a little intrigued as to what direction it's going to go in. I won't say too much in case anyone hasn't seen the trailer, but I was watching the trailer and said, "Oh, let me guess, it's going to be blah 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 is going to be the bad guy," and then the trailer actually reveals that kind of, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's not the twist. Then they're giving us that information. So what is going to be the big reveal?" That's actually more interesting to me now that they've basically come out and told me, "Yeah, that thing you're thinking, get out of your head because it ain't that." That's now made me more interested to see it.
Well, yeah, M. Night's done this a few times recently, where like he kind of sets up a potential twist, and then you watch the movie, and there really isn't one. Like so, not the cabin, not really.
Yeah,
like,
not
it's
the
just kind
cabin.
of like that movie. You kind of like whatever you think about it, like it kind of is going to go one direction or another, and you kind of know that at the start. That's what ends up happening. And then Glass as well. Like not the twist is kind of that there isn't a twist in a way, and that it's all just like this is just how it works, sort of. But yeah.
The twist is that it falls apart at the end.
Hey, I really love Glass, but anyway.
Oh, you like Glass? I think Glass is fine. Glass. Like, I don't love it. I think there's a midpoint in the middle where I'm just a bit sleepy.
I understand that, and I understand. I think most people tend to take issue with just like where it all goes at the end. I actually find that stuff pretty emotional. Like
I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
It's kind of like just to read it in like not like a meta way, but in like in comparison to other like quote unquote superhero movies way, it's very just like anticlimactic, and I kind of like that about it. But I also understand that people like were after when Split had the whole end credits scene, people had it in their head as like Glass was going to be the big finale where all this amazing stuff with these characters was going to happen, and it just kind of goes in a different direction.
It's more of like a
I
character
understand people
study,
not liking
yeah.
that direction though. So
Yeah. But Trap looks. I love the scene in the trailer where the only exciting thing, he walks around for most of that trailer and then he just pushes someone down the stairs randomly. That looks so funny to me. Like I can't wait to see how that stuff plays out.
Josh Hartnett looks like he's having a lot of fun, and I really like that guy.
Yeah.
He just he was around a lot in my childhood, and then he just disappeared for like 10, 15 years, and he sort of resurfaced recently.
And he was in Oppenheimer, and then he was like, yeah, I'm coming back, baby.
Yeah, do you know it?
Yeah, he was
He's been gone
the
so long, I didn't
professor
recognize him.
who like didn't want them to unionize the lab, that whole thing. Yeah.
Put a pair of glasses on him, and you can't recognize him.
I haven't seen him in a ton of stuff actually. I'm looking at this list.
Pearl Harbor.
I definitely recognize
to
the
mind.
band. Yeah, I think he's been on some TV as well that I'm probably forgetting. So, but yeah.
So consensus, we're all looking for the Trap.
Yeah,
certainly.
No, I think they've done a great job with the marketing of it. Looks fun. I've kind of been like I'm like a notorious M. Night defender. Like I think I think all of his movies ever since what was the last one I didn't like? Probably After Earth. I think all of his movies since then have been awesome. But
After Earth is so funny. Such a shit show. Also, the nepotism is real with that family.
I haven't seen the Watchers?
It's one of the worst movies of the year. At least it's
I haven't seen
funny.
it yet. I'm not really anticipating anything great, but I might check it out.
And his daughter's doing the music for this one.
Yeah,
she's playing the titular whatever.
Didn't she do the music for another one recently though, or at least no? I think she did some. One of his kids, I forget if he has multiple, but
he's got
did. Yeah, like one of his kids did I think the one that directed The Watchers did some additional directing on Old.
Yeah, they did Old. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
I like Old.
I really like Old. Yeah, I know it's.
Got on 4K.
That's one where I'm like, anytime I say that on my channel on live streams, I'm like brace for impact because I know so many people hate that.
I feel like I'm gonna get swatted if I say that.
Right.
Like they're gonna get the cops at my door or order a pizza just to piss me off just because I like Old. It's like it's not that deep, bro. Like Old is good. Chill.
It's really fun. I just enjoy the ride of it, and kind of it's very creative. Like it's the premise is interesting, but then also they really flesh it out. Like all of the little things that you could think of for that premise of all the terrible things that could happen to your body or whatever. They do all of them, and it's just kind of fun to watch it happen.
The dialogue is very funny. Like,
oh yeah,
whoa,
yeah, it's
Dad,
bizarre.
that's mid-sized sedan. Who? That's mid-sized sedan.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And that's also probably one of M. Night's worst cameos. He has some. I always enjoy when they pop up in his movies.
He's just on top of the mountain. He's just on top of the mountain. They're spying on him.
Yeah.
Randomly directing the movie from that mountain.
And he drives them to the beach at first, and he hands them towels and snacks, and he says something I forget.
Yeah, we got. Why is there so much food? Well, you're gonna be there a little while. You don't know.
Yeah.
Also,
seems fishy. But...
Rufus Sewell, where he's like, "What's that Marlon Brando movie?"
Oh God, yeah.
And his girlfriend's like, "Oh no, not this again." What?
Marlon Brando and Al Pacino in a movie, I think, and I don't know if anybody ever did figure out what movie he was on about.
I'm not sure.
Chatting shit.
Oh, The Godfather. What am I talking about? Yeah.
Godfather.
Yeah, it's probably
I thought you were being sarcastic, and I missed the joke, but never mind.
No, that's just me being stupid.
And then I'm gonna go find somebody, and then he swims, and then he just comes back.
Yeah.
Also, I find it funny how it cuts to black light twice, and I thought it ended when I first saw it, and I got up, and then it just continued. I was like,
that was kind of my biggest issue with the movie is it could have ended 30 seconds earlier and would have been it just really didn't need that last bit. That was kind of my only thing.
I do like Old though; it's so funny. Yeah. It's Xmas night. I have a hot chocolate in hand, and it's blowing a blizzard. Which underrated Christmas movie would you recommend? I'd have to say Better Watch Out as a recommendation.
Which one's that again?
Uh,
That sounds familiar, but
is that a horror one? Maybe.
Sounds
it up.
like it.
I need to look up Christmas movies.
I have one in mind, but if anybody else has one, they can go ahead. But yeah, Better Watch Out is a horror movie. It came out in like 2016. Yeah.
Okay.
Tangerine apparently is Christmas movie.
Yeah, it takes place at Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh. A bunch of Hallmark shit, which looks like they've got the same actor in them. I mean,
Mine is a recent discovery. I only watched it for the first time last year, but I had so much fun. I might have been on a certain substance when I watched it, but Jingle All the Way is so good. That is just one of the most. I mean, because the thing is, it's a family film. Like it'll totally like would work for most people. Like on Christmas, it's not like Die Hard or Die Hard's great, but like it's not like one of these alternative Christmas movies. But it's so like unhinged. Like it just is just wild. Like I had no idea it was gonna go that way.
I'm gonna break the rules here. I'm gonna say a mini series on Netflix. It's practically the same length as like The Godfather, I guess. It's called Dash and Lily. That's a really underrated Netflix show, Christmas show. In terms of films, though, Carol maybe Holdovers. Holdovers isn't really good.
Holdovers is a really great new one. Yeah,
that's
I'll
very
definitely
much
watch
just
that.
to sit by the fire with a hot chocolate kind of.
Yeah,
kind of
I can't
film.
believe I didn't. Well, I mean, the release of it was like really. It was like in pretty close proximity to Christmas. I know some people watched it before. I know in the UK, you guys didn't really get a chance to watch it until after Christmas, though, right?
No.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it in late January, so it was a really weird watch for me. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit like,
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah, no,
4K
I
of it.
didn't catch up with it until February. I think it was kind of like Oscar prep for me, but I was just blown away by it. I loved it.
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
good.
it's a great film.
So good. It's one of my favorites of last year, I'd say. I watch it even when it's not Christmas. You know,
Yeah.
it's just one of those comfort films. Even though Alexander Payne himself says, "I hate when people say it's comforting. It's actually nauseating."
Because it's a
don't agree
really
with
like
that.
prickly kind of like it's about this like curmudgeon who just kind of hates everybody.
Kind of like Alexander Payne. He hates everybody.
So
I really love the Holdovers so much, but good question. We've got Luke's World of Movies Luke's World of Movies and TV. Hello, how are you? Have any of you watched Deadpool and Wolverine? I thought he was great. I'm so looking forward to watching Beetlejuice. Don't say it one more time, you'll summon him. And I don't feel like dealing with that shit right now. But Deadpool and Wolverine. Elliot, you liked it, didn't you?
I did. I was a little bit like you going in, actually. I was apprehensive. I've not been too impressed by Marvel of the last 2, 3, maybe a little bit longer years. And I did think this is just going to be cameo, more cameos. How many cameos can you squeeze in a movie? The movie, basically. And in the end, actually, after about 20 minutes into it, I don't know, I let my guard down and thought, yeah, I think they're coming at this at the right approach. My worries have settled a little bit. This might be fun. And in the end, it was. It's still flawed. There's definitely flaws that you can't ignore. And I have seen some people give it like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. And I don't even entirely disagree with that. But yeah, I'm more positive about it than I thought I'd be. So I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 in the end.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 on a rewatch. I think it was pretty fun. Jackson hasn't seen it.
No, I will say I'm not a big fan of the first 2 Deadpool movies, though. It's just not really for me. But
I like the first
I'll check it
one
out.
a lot. The second one,
I like the first one
fucking
more than the
reeked.
second one, but
the second one
really like the
sucks.
first one. Yeah.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine is fine. Beetlejuice. I'm not a big fan of the first film, so I can't really say that I'm excited for this one. It looks like a TV movie, but that's kind of the whole appeal. What about you guys? What are you feeling on it?
Yeah, I'm a bit mixed on the Beetlejuice, because I actually love the original film. It was more out of nostalgia, to be honest. I have gone back and revisited it, and yeah, it still holds up, but it isn't as good as I remember. When I was a kid, I was just absolutely adored that movie. So it's kind of sacred to me. I don't ever want it to be touched. Just leave it alone. It is what it is, and it's good enough. So, but there's parts of the trailer where I can sort of go, okay, they're doing a lot of practical effects. Okay, a lot of this looks like it is in keeping to that original film. They've got Michael Keaton back and things like that. It does look like they're giving it a go. They're actually trying to do something good with it. But actually, I completely agree with what you said. It did kind of look like a straight-to-TV movie. It looks like there isn't much of a plot or narrative, or if there is one, that they're not telling you it in the trailer, that's for sure. So I'm going to just keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best, that they haven't completely ruined my boy.
I find it funny because it's premiering at Venice. It's the opening film at Venice Film Festival.
That's right. I forgot about that completely.
It's so crazy to me that that's the opening premiere is Beetlejuice. When they announced that, I kind of just laughed for a bit. I was like, what is happening here?
That's the best thing I've heard today. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm also a huge fan of the original, and I'm not really. I don't know. It seems like a sequel that we don't need. I'm not sure if it's going to get any good, but I'm really intrigued. The trailer opens with an O.J. Simpson joke, like where he just goes, "The juice is loose." I'm like, damn, all right, but
That's funny.
maybe.
Is narrated Home Alone. That's with the
the Better Watch Out.
Better Watch Out. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, nice.
We've got a legend in the house. We've got Mike. Did you see that?
Oh, hey, Mike.
The King. How you doing,
I'm gonna
bud?
try and see if he wants to join us for a bit.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Hey, yeah, I know it's been a while for me since I've been on these streams, but I'm looking forward to getting back to it soon. I'm about to become less busy with my dissertation, so that will help.
Yeah, it's always great to have Jackson on the stream. It's always great. Jackson, I love you in a friendly way. Jingle All the Way is perfection. I love Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
I've been watching that since I was a kid. My mum always says to me every year, put the cookie down. She gets me to do it. Yeah, I just love those movies. I love the Jingle All the Way movie.
I want to watch it with somebody from Minnesota because it does a lot of really good details about like all the snow and like Mall of America and stuff like that. Like I'd be curious if a person like was like, yeah, this is actually a very authentic movie.
I like the mall stuff. Just Arnold Schwarzenegger jumping escalator to escalator over winning a Turbo Man doll. Like, it's so batshit. The lengths this guy goes to please his kid is crazy, but it's kind of sweet.
I mean it's a really sweet idea for a Christmas movie, but just and then to cast somebody like Arnold who can just maximize the physical comedy of that too is just
I'm just trying to get the Turbo Man doll. Like that's all he wants to do. That was a shit accent, but whatever. I hope you're doing well, fellas. Always great to see Elliot on a live stream, and Jackson, aka Michael Bublé, back on stream.
That's right.
Yes,
I had
it's
forgotten
amazing.
about that. Who was that? Was it Matt that gave that nickname to me? Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah.
There is a resemblance, actually. Now he says it.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Thoughts on Project X? I think it's kind of funny. I shouldn't find that kind of humor funny because it's brain rot humor. It's very much like 2010 Tumblr humor, but I find it really funny.
Yeah. I probably can't really give it a full review because I actually watched it drunk, so it's a bit foggy in my memory, to be honest. I remember someone falls off a roof. That's the biggest bit I remember from the movie. So
that's like the poster, isn't it? Is like the guy, like
yes, I think that is the scene. Yes, yeah.
What did I give it out of?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I'm curious. Is it just like about a house party or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
My review last year was the average YouTuber meetup. Yeah.
I think there was one that was really similar called like 21 and Over as well. I vaguely remember
Yeah.
from the past that was like exactly the same movie, pretty much. We did have a period of those sort of films. Like, I don't know if it was like the super bad sort of vibe that was like, I
Yeah.
don't know, teenage party movies, and that's the way they went with it. But yeah,
Even
we
like
did have a little
21
spell
Jump
of them.
Street has a little bit of that, like with the house
Yeah.
parties that they do as adults, which is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Project X. There's a weird subplot with this guy and his gnome. He's like, "Where's my fucking gnome?" It's got like tabs of E in it, and they steal it. And the guy comes back with a flamethrower and burns down the whole neighborhood for this gnome. It's stupid
Subtle.
stuff. It's very subtle. Yeah, it's Todd Phillips, so you got to
Oh.
expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, he produced it, so you can always tell.
Suddenly it all makes sense.
Any of you guys seen Police Story? I watched it last night, first
Yeah.
time watch, and it was a blast. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good
No, it's
though.
a new one to me.
Yeah, I've seen it. I love it. It's like it's probably my favorite like martial arts type action movie. I mean, it's not like a traditional it's not like a martial arts tournament or anything like that, but just like what in terms of like physical stunts, like Jackie Chan is like Buster Keaton in that movie. I mean, maybe you've seen clips of the bus scene, like that stuff, or like probably the craziest one is where he towards the end of the movie, he jumps down these lights basically and literally gives himself like second degree burns like when he did the stunt. But yeah, it's awesome. And there's a great theme song for the movie that I think plays at the beginning and at the end that Jackie Chan himself actually sings. It's in Cantonese, so I can't understand it, but it's on my movie playlist and I put it on all the time. Just, I don't know. It's a good, like, if you're driving and you're just trying to get excited about something, I don't know. It's great.
I think there's meant to be quite a few of them, isn't there? I feel like there's like 4 or 5 Police Stories, I think, isn't there?
I don't know if there's that many. I mean, there's at least 3. I've seen the first 2. The second one's pretty good. It's nowhere near as good as the first one. And then I've heard Super Cop is pretty good. That's the third one.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen any of the others. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Is that the one where Jackie Chan falls through the roof in a mall?
Yeah, that's the one I'm
Sorry,
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is an absolute blast. Do you think Fast and Furious should end with part 2 instead of part 3? I think they should have ended 5 movies ago. But, you know,
We're off the deep end now.
yeah, get your bag, I guess, Vin Diesel. But it's like, did the last one make much money? Did they make enough?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know, actually.
Because it cost the GDP of a small country. So
I would be very surprised based on this initial number if it didn't make money, but I'm just going to compare it to the budget.
Budget was like 300 and
Oh
something.
wow! Actually, I don't know if it did make what.
No.
It cost like 378 million.
Why?
And it made 714, but I don't think that's a profit.
Why did it cost
No,
that
especially
much,
with marketing.
bro?
No. Oh Christ, that's a shit show.
Yeah.
three just shy of, did you say just shy of 350 million?
No. It was more. It was like 380 million, basically.
Oh, so
That's
it's
not
just
much.
shy of
That's more
400
than
million.
Avatar
Oh my
cost,
God.
bro.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
What the fuck? Are they embezzling money now?
Some of that
Where are they
CGI looks
putting it?
really rubbery as well.
The kid CGI. Oh, where are they putting that money?
Yeah, that smells
Vin
of
Diesel and The
something
Rock.
fishy.
Vin Diesel and The Rock don't even show up on sets anymore. So it's like I don't get where this money's going. Shutting down an entire strip in New York, maybe. I think that's where. But
To be fair, some of the contracts these actors are on, I bet it does take up a good chunk of it.
like Robert Downey Jr. getting paid 80 to 90 million for the next Avengers film.
Yeah, I think it's per film as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's made over
think-
500 mil.
They announced that, and like the movie's not coming out for another like 2 years. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Like,
And he must have got a lot for Oppenheimer as well. That man is just
Yeah.
swimming in it.
yeah.
That dude could buy an island if he wanted.
Yeah,
Like that dude
several.
can like yeah, dude can probably buy the whole of a country.
He could
I
actually
don't
be
know-
Iron Man.
Yeah, he could be Tony Stark for real. But it's like I put on Twitter like because I saw something like he's made over 500 million from all of his movies combined, and I'm like, you can make 500 A24 movies with that, or 500
Yeah.
indie movies with that, you know. But
Yeah.
and I think I put a meme on my Instagram where it's like the budget after Robert Downey Jr. Then it's like some Family Guy shit. Like, Mike would love to join, but he's a bit busy. No worries, Mike. Thought I'd ask anyway. If any of you want to join, message me on Instagram for a link to join, depending on what's happening. But yeah, message me on Instagram if you would like to come say hi. Hi, did you see that? Have you heard that Dwayne Johnson is on set for Jumanji 3? I don't think he was making that yet, but that's interesting.
Is it like basically the same cast as the other two, or?
Well, Jack Black's too busy doing an apology tour for his
Oh
friend
right,
who's
yeah, that
mentally-
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
he was
forgot
like,
about that
"Don't miss
completely.
next time." And
I don't
And
know
he's
a
got
lot of
the,
news about it. Yeah.
He's got the smash hit Borderlands coming out very soon as well, which I'm sure we're
and
all
he's also got
desperately excited to see.
Minecraft movie
Oh,
with Jason
right.
Momoa.
Yeah.
He's got that coming out.
To be fair, I kind of thought he was like I didn't like the Mario movie, but I thought he was like easily the best part. I kind of thought he was the only actor that showed up to work as far as the voice
Yeah.
casting goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I find Jack Black kind of his film choices are strange. He's very much in the zeitgeist of kids' movies now. After Mario.
Yeah. Have either of you guys seen Bernie, the Richard Linklater movie?
Oh,
Yes.
hasn't that got Matthew McConaughey?
I
in
haven't.
it?
Tell me about it, because I've heard it's very different than like what he normally does.
Yes, and that is kind of why I love it, to be honest. I think I gave it like a really high score. It's maybe a little bit of my sort of excitement for it. It's probably a little bit lower than I actually scored it, but it's so refreshing to see Jack Black do a really kind of messed up weirdo role. He's just slimy and odd, and you don't know where you stand with him. He says these things where you're like, what does he actually mean by that? Because that could mean many things. It's a really fascinating character. The story and the plot can be a little bit light at times, but he just eats up the scenery and has a great time with it. So for
that's
that
awesome.
alone, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, that's I back when I was in the UK, like it was right before I left, I went to this event at the BFI where Mark Kermode had like a live event, and he had he always has like a few mystery guests for those, and one of them was Richard Linklater, because it was right when Hitman was coming out. So he got to talk a little bit about kind of his career and kind of noir movies that he was inspired by for Hitman. But because it was kind of like Hitman's kind of the first movie first like really dark movie that Linklater's done since Bernie, and they kind of talked about that a little bit, and it made me really want to watch it. So I'll have to get around to it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I love Linklater.
I had no idea it was him who made that.
No, actually, until you said.
He has an incredibly like varied filmography. Like he's kind of known for like all the stuff with time that he likes to do with the Before trilogy and Boyhood, but he's got a lot of just like really eccentric choice. I mean, he made an animated movie a couple years ago that barely got any attention.
He made a couple, Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, that's right.
Apollo
Yeah, a couple of them.
13 and a
Yeah.
half,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So
Scanner Darkly, rotoscoping like animation makes me feel sick, so I turned it off within like 10 minutes because it made me
Yeah.
I
feel
still don't know how I feel about that
rough.
film, to be honest with you.
that one I haven't seen. I did see Apollo 13 or 10 and a half. Apollo 10 and a half.
Oh, I thought it was Apollo 11 and a half, but it might be 10 and a half.
No, it's 10 and a half because it's like kind of the era built like around the space age, and the one that actually reached the moon was Apollo 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just like I also, because I was born in Houston, Texas, and I still have a lot of family there. It was a great like Houston movie. I think that's where Linklater's from as well. So it was just kind of a really nice sort of low key animation. But then he also just makes weird crime movies like he did with Bernie and now Hitman. So
Hitman, yeah, Hitman's great.
I really liked Hitman. I don't. Did you like it, Elliot? Or
I really struggled with it, to be honest.
Okay,
with
that's
you.
fair. Because there were quite a few people I saw who I like have similar taste to who weren't huge on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just struggled to find a groove with it. I think for 30 odd minutes, I was actually really into it. And then it just took a turn into sort of like romantic comedy that I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting it to go this alleyway with it. So I don't know. It wasn't nowhere near the worst thing I've seen this year. It's not even close to touching like the worst 10 of the year or anything like that. But yeah, I did really want to like it. And unfortunately, I didn't. Yeah.
No, that's totally fair. Like it is strange, like tonally for sure. Like if you're, I saw one of my favorite kind of like mediocre to negative reviews of it that I saw was a friend of mine. She said, it's a great rom-com, but an absolutely god-awful film noir. And I was like, okay, yeah, that kind of like captures the tone thing that people are having issues with.
Watched Joe versus a Volcano yesterday. Fun, underrated little flick. Have you seen? I haven't even heard of that before.
I've heard of it, but I'm trying to remember what this is.
No, it's news to me. Sounds good though. A man versus a volcano. I'm up for seeing that.
I've seen Airplane versus Volcano, which is an Asylum movie. It's as good as you can imagine.
I want to get to this question priority. Do you have any interest in Megalopolis? I'm so intrigued. I'm so goddamn intrigued. I've heard so many people talk shit about it. I've heard so many people speak their praises on it. It seems like a Marmite film. I don't like what Francis Ford Coppola did on set. I've seen the video. It's rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
But what did he do? I've not heard about this. What happened on set? He groped
one of the extras or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he had like some really. Didn't somebody? I forget if the quote is in the video.
Yeah, he said. He was like, "Oh, if I come and kiss you, you gotta take it," or something like that.
Yeah. It was something like pretty like.
Man's a bachelor in the wrong way. Like.
But I'm intrigued. I don't think it's going to be very good. Just from the reviews I've heard, I'm like, it sounds like a big swing and a miss. I'm intrigued, but
what's the name? Aubrey Plaza plays a character called Wow Platinum.
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing that I've heard about it was kind of compared by a couple like kind of spoiler free reviews I read to like Civil War and how kind of shallow it is. Just like how it's I've heard its critique is just like, yeah, like America is like Roman Empire. Like, can we do different? Like it's, I don't know. It's I want more depth than that, and I'm not sure. Out of some of the interviews I've seen from Coppola as well, it's like it doesn't seem like he's going for much more than that. So yeah,
he's been working on this for years, and that's always a bit worrying when it's like on the back burner for like a decade. You're like, it's probably
he's been working on it since the 80s, I think. Yeah, he sold his winery to make it. Apparently, it's the most expensive indie film ever made.
Which that alone is worth seeing it for. Like,
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like there are times where like nowadays I kind of think about some of the movies that are coming out now. In a way that's like comparable to like the new Hollywood, like where a lot of like big auteur directors are getting to make movies on a large scale and they're making money. But
hobby, etc. Like
exactly. But but Megalopolis kind of reminds me a little bit. It could end up being like a Heaven's Gate situation where the budget's just so big and the reviews are kind of mixed, and so it bombs. So,
it could be like Waterworld, if anything.
Yeah.
Like Waterworld was like that, wasn't it? That was kind of shut on. But I'm very intrigued for this movie. Apparently, John Voight is so bad in it. It's actually really funny. Same with Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf just screams for the whole thing.
Oh God.
Yeah, I saw somebody posted a picture of like there's like a part where like somebody from the audience comes out.
Yeah, I saw that.
From the movie like looks at the person in the audience. I'm like, how are they going to do that when they just release it in theaters? Like, or if you watch it at home, what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just like, it looks very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
but
give it
I
a go.
knew-
Yeah,
I
I'll
knew someone
definitely
who
give it a go.
saw it.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who saw it at Venice, and he gave it a half star out of 5 on Letterboxd. He said it was one of the worst things he's ever sat through at a festival, and he's been to Cannes and Venice for years.
Is this Ewan from
Yeah,
the?
Ewan.
Yeah, I've seen him in the group chat and the Intercut Discord.
In a
Yeah.
cut, yeah. Yeah, well, I speak to him quite often, and he said it was absolute. He said it was terrible.
I saw him talk about it on the podcast, and yeah, it does not. It doesn't sound very good, but I'm
No.
intrigued.
Jumanji 3, I'm interested in his new smashing machine. I hope he does well with it. He's Dwayne playing Dwayne shtick is good. It's kind of like Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same principle. But I don't even remember the second one. All I remember is that Aquafina's in it and she's annoying. She screams for most of it. Have you guys seen the second Jumanji? Do you guys remember it even coming out?
I've only seen the first
Oh.
one. Yeah.
I think I
was
saw the
thinking the
second
first one was
one.
all right, but yeah. But go ahead.
No, sorry, I think I saw the second one. Am I right in thinking Bobby Cannavale was the villain and he's like possessed
I
by
thought
some
he was the
weird
villain.
green smoke? Or is that the
I thought that was
first one?
the first
the
one.
first
That's
one.
the first one.
Yeah,
Second one
I've,
was there even a villain in the second one?
I have. Not
I've seen the
it, so I don't
first
Was
know.
it Danny
then.
DeVito?
I think because I looked up the third one and then the cast came up and Danny DeVito was there, but I think it was for the second one because I don't think that many details about the third one are out.
No.
Yeah.
Who was the villain in the? Oh my god, man!
Question for the chat.
Someone help me here.
Yeah,
I'm not rewatching that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Not your normal geek. If you, I mean, like you've probably seen the second one if you're interested in the third one, so maybe you can tell us who the villain is.
Yeah, I'm not rewatching it just to find out who the villain is. Who won in the fight, Homelander or Superman? Homelander from The Boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I mean, yeah.
I haven't seen
if
a lot of it either. But I'd say
Homelander just
Homelander.
needs to get some kryptonite, and he would definitely do that. So yeah, I think it's got to be Homelander. Jackson's
guess.
just going.
I'll go with that. Sure. I mean,
Well,
it's weird in my mind that somebody is like an instant, like, oh yeah, he would kick Superman's ass. But I guess kryptonite is all you need.
I haven't seen enough of it to determine. I've seen a season and a half of it, and he's done fuck all. So I haven't really. I don't know.
I'll stace them.
Okay. Do you have any? We've read that one.
Yeah, we read that one. Yeah.
It sounds silly, but I think Deadpool and Wolverine is one of my favorite movies. It's just all I want from a Deadpool and Wolverine story, plus more. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Scratches
power
a
to
lot of
you.
itches.
It's not quite on a level of like Umbrella to Cherbourg, but it's a.
Imagining that double feature. I think I have a list of like my 100 favorite movies that I update every now and then, and like there is stuff on there that's closer to the Deadpool Wolverine spectrum, and there's stuff that's closer to the Umbrellas of Cherbourg, spectrum. So it all just depends. It's like what you're in the mood for.
Yeah,
I have
depends.
Beau Travail and Spinal Tap in my top 5. So
Nice.
it depends on your mood, doesn't it?
I've had Beau Travail on Criterion for a long time. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you got to watch it, Josh. It's so
I
good.
know.
Yeah.
Masterpiece.
Every time I put it
Loved
on, I'm really sleepy, and then
Oh,
Yeah. My fiance
It's
didn't
very-
like it, and I was like really bummed out when it happened. I think she's not a huge fan of like kind of intentionally slow cinema. Like I think she likes she's fine with like slower stories that progress a bit slower. Just kind of older movies tend to have that, but I think Beau Travail was a little slow. But
Yeah,
which I
I was
guess.
just going to say to Josh, it's very serene. So if you're tired, it will put you to sleep.
And I like slow cinema. Columbus is my number one movie right now on Letterboxd, and that's the fucking slowest of the slow you can get. So, yeah. When is Megalopolis even out? Definitely be screening them. I doubt it'll be streaming at Odeon, to be honest with you. It's more of like one of those picture house films, maybe.
Yeah. They're gonna try. I think they're gonna try and get it as wide a release as they can.
Yeah, and they're doing an IMAX release apparently.
And didn't like Lionsgate buy it or something?
Lionsgate, yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine they would probably get it to an Odeon at least for a limited time. But
I think Twitter's going to promote that more than Lionsgate will. To be honest with you.
yeah, no, they will. They will botch the marketing. That is basically a guarantee.
Yep, they will. They've already kind of done it. A little bit.
Even though there's been some
Homelander's
really
weak.
good marketing this year, like we were talking about
Yeah,
Trap, but
Long
also like
Legs.
Long Legs was legendary marketing
Yeah.
for that. So yeah,
What other good marketing was there? TV Glow had pretty good marketing.
Yeah.
because it was all based on the music.
Doom
Which-
2.
Dune
Yeah.
Part 2. Oh god, Doom fucking so good. Every time I saw that trailer, I had goosebumps. Every time I see the movie, I get goosebumps. Like,
I remember the teaser of the Thumper being put in the sand, and I saw it on my phone. I was like, "Oh my god, it's coming! The trailer's coming!"
I know.
What other good marketing?
I have to look at my list for this year. There's some. Let's see.
I know that Long Legs is probably top of that list right now because that marketing was insane.
I agree.
It wasn't this year, but Barbie absolutely crushed it
Oh,
by putting
Barbie,
those
yeah.
Barbie
The
boxes in the
2001
cinema.
thing. Yeah.
Genius idea
Oppenheimer,
that was.
Oppenheimer had a good rollout as
Yeah.
well.
Twisters actually had a really
Twisters,
good trailer with like the spelling out the
Yeah.
everything.
Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's been
Alien
solid.
Romulus. That marketing campaign is crazy good. Like they've been very cryptic with
This
it. They
was a
haven't
very
put
small
much-
marketing campaign, but it was good. Aggro Drift.
Yeah.
because like Edgelord or Harmony Korine, he basically like took his show on the road and he did like all of these weird like I don't even know what this was because I was looking into I saw it when I was in London because he went to like the Prince Charles Cinema and he did like an intro for it and then they played the movie. I was like I want to do that, but there was also like a club that was doing like a 5-hour like rave with Harmony Korine and like maybe they
What
played
was
the
the
movie
one-
as well. I don't know.
What was the one you went to? Didn't you go to one?
Yeah, I went to just it was just a screening at
intro
the
one.
where
Prince
he
Charles.
did, so there were two of them. I went to the second one and he showed up in like a neon green ski
Like
mask.
the one, yeah.
Yeah, and he just said like, "Hey, this isn't really a movie. I wasn't trying to make a movie. It's more of just like a vibe-based experience. Enjoy it." And then
Harmony
And then
Korine
it
saying vibe.
yeah, it is it's a while. Have either of you guys seen it yet?
Yes.
I've heard about it.
love
Someone
it.
mentioned this
So good.
ages ago, and I thought, like, this can't be
Probably
a real
me.
movie. Like, the whole thing's in like thermal lenses and stuff. I was like, what?
Yeah,
is going on
it's
here? So,
entirely in infrared, like for 80 minutes.
Yeah.
and
I'm
everybody
really
I've-
curious.
everybody I've shown the trailer to who's like just like a normal person, like who doesn't, who's not like on Letterboxd all the time or whatever, is just like that looks like it would really hurt your eyes for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I was fine when I came out. Like I didn't have a headache or anything.
Me
I thought
either.
it was really funny. I thought it was like intentionally there were a lot of like I don't want to say satire because it's not like so overt. Like there's not a plot in the movie like at all. But
No,
but
no,
some of
there
what
is
it's
not a
doing,
plot.
I think, is kind of making fun of like AI and video games. Even though I think Harmony Korine doesn't like, he's not like looking down on those things. I think he very much enjoys both of them. But he's definitely like it definitely is in line with some of his other stuff, like Spring Breakers, where he's making fun of this stuff.
Or the Beach
So, like,
Bum. The Beach
Yeah.
Bum's very much.
Beach Bum. Yeah, Beach Bum. Beach Bum's just like a great hangout movie, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I love the Beach Bum. Like
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey just riding around on a mobility scooter.
Yeah.
It's funny shit. Him and Snoop Dogg just
Yep.
lighting it up.
I was
But-
sober when I watched that movie, and that was probably not.
I'm
the movie.
always
It
sober,
probably
so
shouldn't have been.
watching that sober is a common occurrence.
Yeah.
But Aggro Drift is so fucking good. It's really funny.
Yeah,
Travis Scott is terrible in it.
he's barely in
that's
it as
great,
well.
yeah.
He's got one
Yeah, he's-
scene.
Yeah.
It was that's actually in the marketing. They were kind of in the first trailer. They made it seem like he was going to be a big part of it, and then I think they used every frame they had of him probably in the trailer. So
yeah. Have you seen his new film coming out, Baby Invasion?
no, never. I don't think I've heard of it.
Apparently, it's a first-person shooter where
As a
everybody
movie?
turns into baby faces, and then
Okay.
it's like a first-person shooter, like a video game. That's premiering at Venice as well.
He was like the king of Venice last year. He showed up in that like demon mask from the movie.
Yeah, then he said this is based cinema.
Yeah, he's
based,
just like talking
based.
about how based his movie is in front of all these like film critics.
Yeah, let me try and find a synopsis for Baby Invasion. It sounds so weird.
He also did a thing for Letterboxd at the festival where he like gave his top 4, and he said like his favorite movies were like Porky's, Cocoon. Like he just gave like the most random choices that everyone knows. Harmony Korine is like, those are. I don't think those are your favorite movies.
Oh, it uses more AI apparently.
Yeah, he's very into AI, and I've talked about this with a couple people for Aggro Drift. I think the use of it in the movie is pretty sparing. It's noticeable. Like the big thing is anytime you get like a close up of somebody's face, like you'll see like there are these like little almost like worm weird like they're almost like gears. I think they're trying to make the people look kind of like robots, but it's clearly AI. And I think he's, I don't know. I have because it's not like trying to pass itself off as anything that it isn't, and it's just a much smaller budget movie. Then it's less cynical than when it's done in like a Marvel movie or something like that. But it's still like not great. I would prefer they pay an artist.
I think Elliot would like it. I love the big guy.
Oh my god. Yeah. We're I think we're ruining too much of this potential. I think we're spoiling so much of this stuff.
It's fake. It's still fake enough.
Yeah, I kind of want Elliot to watch it and review it.
Yeah,
because I'd love to see what you
can. You still watch it for? I don't think you can watch it for free anymore on edgelord.com. I think you have to pay for it. Or
wait, it was free on Edgelord?
Well, I never watched it on there.
No, I didn't.
I just thought since a lot of people were doing it, maybe it was. But I get they might have just always had people pay for it. But
yeah, please watch it, Elliot. Funny ass movie.
Definitely hunting it down. Yeah.
It's definitely based. On a film I put you to sleep, just watch Ad Astra. I like Ad Astra. Why did you do this to me?
Great. I understand it's a very quiet movie. I don't know if you're saying it in a good way or a bad way. Because like there's some movies that like I remember when I saw Stalker, I was kind of dozing in and out, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, I was.
But maybe that's one of them. But maybe for a bad example, I don't know. I don't normally fall asleep in movies unless I'm very, very tired. But
yeah. What about you, Elliot? What would you say is a movie that gave you Z's?
Similar to what Jackson was saying, it wasn't a bad movie, but we recently sat down to watch Solaris, and it was after a really big meal, and it's quite a long movie. And in that like last 30 minutes, I must admit I was literally doing this just to sort of stay, because I was really enjoying it. I didn't want to pause it and get back to it the next day, but my own ability to stay awake was definitely affecting the film, that's for sure.
I pitched that movie to a couple of friends as what if 2001 was like a lot slower? And these are like normal people who probably think 2001 is really slow, and it kind of is. Like the first 30 minutes are slow, but yeah.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
I'm trying to think. I just had a film in my head and it's gone. I don't know. A lot of movies put me to sleep sometimes. Gonna watch that god awful looking Crow remake on release day probably. Looks really funny. What do you guys think of the Crow remake?
I'll
let Jackson take this one.
I don't think it looks very good. It's kind of funny that it's coming out like because it looks so similar to like, or at least Bill Skarsgård in it looks so similar to his character in Boy Kills World, which I don't know if you guys caught up with, but yeah, it's I thought that was all. I don't think it looks good. No.
Right. What about you,
Yeah.
Elliot?
No, I'm the same. I mean, I don't even really love the original movie, but especially with all the trauma that was attached to it just kind of feels like just leave it alone. It's a good movie with its own legacy. People love it, and people love Brandon Lee for it. Leave it be. It kind of feels a bit trashy and tasteless to be like, I know, let's stick a known face in there. Let's stick Pennywise in there now. It's like, are we really doing that? It smells of a boardroom where people had like graphs out and said, if we put this
Yep.
person in this remake, we'll make money. And that's what this movie looks like.
Yeah,
It is
it's
to me,
that-
unfortunately.
It's the definition of that stonks meme, where
Yeah,
it's like,
Yeah. Is it Warner Bros thing? Like,
No,
are they
it's-
doing it or?
Film Nation here,
Oh.
but I think it's Lionsgate elsewhere.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Lionsgate sounds familiar. Yeah, because I couldn't remember who did the original. I haven't seen the original yet. I do like. I think I've seen a couple of smaller movies from Alex Proyas though, and I think he's
Alex
an
Proyas,
interesting kind of like
oh.
B sci-fi director. So I do want to check it out. But
I think Alex Proyas was the guy who did I Am Legend, right? Did he do I Am Legend?
I don't remember.
Am I getting this?
He also did Gods of Egypt, which I can't wait.
Oh,
To,
that movie's so funny. Alex Proyas. He did Dark City.
I Robot as well.
But it looks a
I
bit like
remember,
Megamind. Gods of Egypt, Knowing. iRobot's the one he did. Yeah, I'm thinking. Why am I thinking of I Am Legend? Because it's another Will Smith movie.
A friend of mine has a tag on Letterboxd that he calls "Stupid Matrix." It's just like, what if we did the Matrix, but it was really stupid? And he's like, there are a number of stupid Matrix movies that predate the Matrix, and he says Dark City is one of them. If you want to check it out.
I'm more intrigued for The Crow because it's got FK Twigs in it. She barely looks like she's going to be in it, but she's one of my favorite artists. So disappointing to see that it's this. Also, when the first image released, I was like, "Is this some Twilight bullshit?" Where they're sat by the
Yeah,
fire. I was like,
it's
"Is this
very
Twilight?"
like goth girl
It's
energy.
very Catherine Hardwick coded. Very Catherine Hardwick coded.
He reminds me of Jared Leto's Joker as well, with all the face
Yes.
paint. And
Oh my
tattoos.
God.
And he's
Yeah.
It's a
shirtless as
mess.
well. Like he might have. Does he have
Yeah.
tattoos? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
has
does.
loads of them.
Yeah.
Every time I go to the cinema, I see the Crow trailer. I'm sick of it. Yeah, man.
I didn't see it when I went to see last time I was there to go see Twisters. I don't think the Crow trailer played, but I have seen it quite a few times.
Yeah, seeing that trailer in IMAX was weird. I was like, please hurry up. I wanna see Gladiator 2 trailer in IMAX, and thankfully I got it, and that was cool. Favorite of the decade so far, mine is Licorice Pizza, though I'd probably say it's Type of Oppenheimer. Doom Part 2, easy. Don't care what you people say. Doom Part 2 is my favorite of the decade. Sue me. What about you guys? What would you say?
So far, it's maybe just because it's top of my head and top of my list this year, but I'd probably go for Zone of Interest. That's the film that's like sometimes
that's top 10.
Sometimes a
That's
film, yeah, sometimes a film ends and you stand up and you look at the screen and go, "That's a fucking good movie. That's
Yeah.
gonna stay with me." That one is, and that Zone of Interest did that to me. The last film prior to that, which I don't think is still within the decade, unfortunately, was probably Hereditary. That was the last time I stood up and went,
That was
"That's a bloody good
2018. I
movie."
think.
Yeah.
So it's just outside, unfortunately.
Just
but yeah,
edge.
I'd have to go. I'd go for Zone of Interest. Yeah.
I actually that was one of the few movies I got to see at the London Film Festival last year, which I think was the UK premiere of it, and
Yeah.
that was I just remember the entire like the entire auditorium just poured out like in silence, basically. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awkward,
Sticks
isn't
with
it? Yeah.
yeah.
What about you,
Uh,
Jackson? What would you pick?
Yeah, for me, I'd either say Oppenheimer or Mad God, the stop
My
motion.
God,
movie.
yeah. We watched that
Yeah.
together.
Love
didn't we?
that film.
Yeah, no, it's I had like that might be my favorite cinema going experience I've had maybe in my life, just because I went to see it at an outdoor screening, and there was a for most of the movie there was like a thunderstorm in the background, like in the distance and everything.
Oh,
And then right as the movie ended, it started pouring rain on all of us. So which was just like such a great compliment to the whole experience. So
nice.
I-
There's a lot of films this decade which just feel important. After Sun, maybe as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh god, that was so good. It made me
Yeah,
cry. I
After
watched it on a
Sun-
plane, regrettably, but it even on a plane it made me cry for sure.
I was hoping Columbus would fit, but that's 2017, motherfucker. I think Doom Part 2. I saw the TV Glows close. That's probably top 10. That's very
my
important.
favorite of this year is Hundreds of Beavers.
Yes.
So
I still need to see it.
That's up
Still
there.
need to see it.
yeah,
It's so much fun.
I watched it. So I saw it in theaters briefly when it was here, but then I also recently I had my like kind of sort of bachelor party, but there's a few people like that it's kind of like gender neutral bachelor party because my wedding party's mixed, but we were up in like a cabin for a weekend, and I like put on Hundreds of Beavers for them, and they just loved it. It was so much fun watching it with friends.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
still
might
haven't seen
be.
it.
I think it might now be on Amazon Prime in the UK, so it should be free to watch. I think now.
Well, let me
I think it is
see.
anyway.
Might be. I know it got a
Don't know.
small theatrical release too. Like at least in
Fingers
London. I
crossed.
don't know. Did you see it in theaters, Elliot?
I managed to get a screening. I've got a friend who works in a cinema, and every now and then he can rustle something up for me. And I asked him to keep an eye out for it because someone else had seen it, and it sounded great. And he looked at me like, "What? What the hell is that? I haven't even seen that on the list." So I was like, "Okay, so I'm probably not going to get to see it." And then out of nowhere, he texted me saying, "You know that weird beaver film you wanted? Well, we've got a screener for it." And I was like, I'll be there. You tell me the time, and I'll be there. And I didn't regret it. It was such.
There's a
And then-
Blu-ray coming out for it.
And then you
Oh,
get there
really?
and it's well, and then you get there and it's The Beaver starring Mel Gibson.
Yes, yeah, totally wrong film. Yeah,
But I'm still.
yeah, that'd have been a different
Yeah.
review.
It's a little bit different. Yeah.
What was a movie you did not like but has really grown on you?
Ooh.
One for
Old.
me is
As
Memento.
well. Oh,
I
Memento.
I saw it when I was quite a bit younger, and I found it really hard to follow and like just not very engaging. And then I saw it more when I was more into Nolan stuff, and I liked it, but like I found it a little bit gimmicky compared to some of his other movies. And then I watched it again like last year, and it just kind of like all clicked for me, and it just like really resonated in a way that it hadn't. Kind of the way that the confusing narrative ties into the very like kind of sad, lonely emotion of the character. That's grown on me quite a bit.
That's a great shout.
I'm trying to think.
For me, it'd probably be District 9, which is a weird choice, but I remember watching that in cinema, and obviously maybe it was because it was really highly hyped. People were saying this is incredible. I walked out of there going, this is dumb. This is such a stupid movie. Like humans and prawns are having a war. Like, what is this about? But so I never really cared about it or took it seriously. It was actually Mrs. IMO who, once I told her that, I was like, that movie's dumb. She was like, what? No, we are sitting down, we are rewatching it. And actually, I saw the light. I suddenly went, oh, right. I'm now seeing all the metaphors and the undertones. And, it's set in South Africa. Maybe that might be on purpose.
Yeah.
Suddenly
Yeah.
it all just clicked with me.
Maybe it's an
wasn't about
apartheid
humans and
regime.
prawns.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All of that flew straight over my head when I was sat in the cinema. I think I was just too focused on the idea of humans versus prawns, and I thought that was dumb. Second time, I managed to see past that. So, yeah, mine would be District 9.
I've never seen it, but it sounds kind of similar to
It's
Starship
good.
Troopers, just in how
It's
it like uses like this alien story as a bit of like a analogy of
It's found
you know.
footage, this one, technically.
Yeah,
found
there
footage.
are definitely links. Yeah, they're not the same, but there are definitely similarities for sure.
I'm assuming it's not like the Paul Verhoeven like campy tone or anything, but
No, it's super. It's quite uber serious at
Yeah.
a lot of it.
yeah.
It's very
that-
brutal,
yeah.
very gross at points, very dirty and grimy.
There is some humor and levity in there, but it's sort of like almost like The Office sort of humor. It's a bit awkward. You don't really know if you're meant to laugh, but someone will say something funny, and you're like, you might hold your snickering.
Yeah, there's a scene in an apartment I find quite funny. From what
I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
But I think I'd probably pick Babylon.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like it first time. But this time, I've seen it like 4 times. First time I was like, yeah, this is decent. Second time I was like, no, I fucking hate this. And then third time I'm like, yeah, this is perfect cinema. So it kind of like goes
fluctuated. Yeah. I saw it in theaters twice. And it's very, very long. Yeah.
I remember Mark Commode called it Babylon and on and on and on, and I thought that was pretty clever, to be fair.
He's had a couple every once in a while, like there's like a movie that's like kind of out there, and I'm really excited for it, and then I see his review, and it's just like super negative. That was one of them. Drive-Away Dolls this year. I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it, and he thought it was just terrible. Like.
He does keep me on my toes. I feel like I know what he's going to give it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, no, not at all what I thought.
Yeah,
it's a lot better than people give it credit for. Drive-Away Dolls. I really find it quite fun. If you're a fan of Kareem, check out his appearances on Letterman.
Oh yeah. I've seen. It's been a while since I've watched those, but yeah, he has some wild talk show appearances. Not quite to the extent of like Abel Ferrara on Conan, where he's just like out of his mind on drugs, clearly, but still pretty eccentric.
The Matrix 4 needs to be a pill form to help those with insomnia.
I enjoy the Matrix 4, but I agree. It's very testing in terms of like the pacing of it. Like I was kind of enjoying like what it was doing with all the meta stuff early on, and then it kind of becomes a Matrix movie, and it just is a bit underwhelming, But yeah,
I haven't seen the new Matrix movie since it first released, and I wasn't a fan of it. I do need to rewatch it. I found its whole idea of meta commentary like, oh, we're making the Matrix 4 inside of a video game. What if the Matrix was a video game and it's like,
well, it's also like kind of it's sort of like critiquing that though, because it's like the studio executives, like because I think Lana didn't want to make the movie.
Yeah.
But then,
bear in mind, I haven't seen it for a couple of years, so
the studio was like, we're going to make it with or without you. Do you want to be the one to make it? And so I mean, like, so I kind of appreciated that she was just kind of shitting on like how cynical this whole process is. But then you actually do the movie, and it's just like the action was really underwhelming, like compared to all the Hong Kong style stuff and the other movies. This was. I didn't hate it. Like it was, to me, it was kind of in line with what she's done in like Jupiter Ascending, which I actually really like that movie. But like it was just kind of like not really what I wanted in a fourth Matrix movie as it went on. Yeah.
We got Zach here. Hey Zach, how you doing?
Hey Zach.
Hey.
Fight Club is up there on my all-time top 10. Definitely glad you ended up liking it. I love Fight Club.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
Oh yes.
Meatloaf's in it. Oh, can these people stop messaging me? Go away. Snapchat messages. But yeah, I love Fight Club so much.
I saw it on 35 millimeter when I was in London, and when I don't know if this is I forget if this is just in the print version or if this is on the Blu-ray and stuff as well. But because you know how Tyler likes to splice in like penises and stuff into the film.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that, like subtly, like when you watch it on a print. I think it might be in the movie in generally, but yeah, it was wild.
One for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Seeing it in 35mm. That'd
It
be
was
incredible.
really cool. I hadn't
really
seen
wanna
it.
see a film in
I loved the
35.
movie in high school. Actually, I read the book in high school as well,
Mm.
and saw it a few times since, but hadn't seen it in probably like 4 or 5 years. And so that was a really cool way to rewatch it.
He really hates Avatar. Kermode does, yeah. He
Yes.
was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is so god." He was like, "This is so long. This is so dribble." I love Avatar. I've got a soft spot for those films. I really like them.
I need to revisit the first one, but I liked the second one quite a bit.
Yeah. What about you, Elliot? Do you like them?
They're not really for me. The first one, I remember walking out and saying it's basically Pocahontas but in blue, but it does look good. Like the CGI is undeniably impressive, and I do like the imagination of the world. The whole bit with the rocks are sort of floating in the sky. That's incredible. That looks incredible as well.
I think.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say I think the CG looks better in the old one than it does the new one. Even though the water looks
Yeah.
excellent in the new one, I think some of it does look video gamey.
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
Like the textures just feel a bit waxy, but the
Mm.
original one has the same thing. But some of the close-ups, I'm like, yeah, this is
I think the first
crazy.
one's lit better, and I don't mean lit more. I mean actually lit less. Like
Better,
it's
yeah.
like I think there's a little bit too much sun, which kind of like makes it look a little artificial in the second one. But
Yeah. My boyfriend loved Matrix 4, but he was super, super high. I think that'll be a good high move. I think that'll be a good movie to watch high, to be honest with you.
I think any of the sequels. I haven't seen the third one yet, but 2 I watched high, and that was an experience. Like the highway set piece, like that goes on. I mean, it goes on for like 20-30 minutes anyway, and so you just feel like it's the whole movie.
Yeah, you feel like
yeah.
it's like 2 hours, and you're like,
yeah.
fuck.
I actually got recommended a perfect high movie if the occasion ever arose, but I'm going to have to look up the name of it. If you bear with me a second, Jackson might actually know of it. It's quite an obscure one. If you bear with me, it'll be in my watch later. Someone on YouTube was talking about it, actually. You guys keep talking. I'll try and find it. I'll let you know.
Zach says, I've never seen any of the Matrix movies. Do they age well? I think the first one does. I find there's a funny moment in the first one where he's at the edge of the building and he's like, you have a choice to jump or something. And then then it just cuts to him getting in a police car. I think that's how it happens.
I think the first one ages really well. Like it's you know, it's a classic for a reason. The sequels, like I mean, 4 we can't really say yet. Like it's came out a few years ago. I haven't seen 3. The second one, I think, like it's definitely not as good as the first one, but and some of that's just down to like the CG is more distracting. It's there's a lot of it's a lot less practical, I think. But it's still, I don't know. I think it's mostly still holds up pretty well.
Talking of good marketing,
yeah,
Matrix 4.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I completely agree with Jackson. The first one's the better movie, but the second one's the one I actually remember the most. The one with the highway chase, the ghosts and things like that, and it's the bit with the fight on the park benches and stuff. When I think of the Matrix, they're all of the scenes that come to my mind, but the first movie is definitely the better one to watch.
Yeah, and there's some really great, like stylistically, the fight scenes in the second one are like I think at the very beginning you have Neo just fighting all of those Smiths and everything, and he's just like it makes Neo seem a bit too powerful, I think, whereas in the first movie he's more vulnerable, but it's still really cool to watch. I guess that's the difference.
The name of that movie is going to be a nightmare to pronounce it. Koyaanisqatsi.
Oh yeah, Koyaanisqatsi. Yeah, that's the
Koyaanisqatsi.
It's like a experimental documentary, right? Where it's just like sped up footage of Earth.
Yeah, I heard it's really weird.
That's funny.
I haven't seen it, but I'm very aware of it. I actually think I'm supposed to watch it by the end of the year. So I did a list of I did this challenge that's like 12 films in 12 months from 12 friends or whatever. And I'm a little behind on it, but I think Leon recommended me Koyaanisqatsi. So
probably maybe do it high because apparently that's the perfect movie for it.
I want to, but I haven't smoked weed in a long time just because there's a job I'm applying for that drug tests. And
Well, they might be watching this now.
So we'll see. It's weird because it's like a
Hashtag Jackson's
federal
over
lab
party.
kind of, and so like so in my state, weed is legal, and like there's
Right.
no problems with it, but like federally, it's still illegal, and so that's
Hmm.
why it's like an issue. So, it's annoying.
Hey Danny, hope you're doing well. If you're gonna handpick your Avengers, who would you include? Marvel and DC characters
Ooh.
allowed, and any variant. Plastic Man. No, I'm joking.
Wait, as in just like out of the Avengers, like which ones do we like the most, or just like if we could pick different superheroes to be in the Avengers?
Yeah.
Make your own super team.
Nova. I pick Star-Lord. Black Panther. So we're going on. We can only pick 6, I assume, because there's 6 Avengers.
thought
Nova, Black
I thought
Panther.
there were technically more than 6 because like they in the subsequent movies they like add.
Oh, who fucking
in
cares,
Infinity
man?
War,
The
they have
original,
all-
the original was 6. There was about 600 in Infinity
Okay,
War
yeah.
and Endgame. Like, I don't know 600 characters, so I'm just gonna go with 6. So Nova, Star-Lord, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, if she got her shit together. Then who else would I pick? A DC character, I'd probably pick Green Lantern, and then another DC character, Hawkman.
Nice. That's a good selection. It's annoying because most of my favorites are all villains, so we'd be a crap Avengers team. We'd be causing all the trouble. We would not be saving the day at all. But if I'm going off of heroes, I've always loved the Hulk, just always have. So he'd have to be on the team. That's a tricky one now. Who else? I'd probably chuck in Thor as well. I've always kind of liked
So you're
Thor.
going with the main 6?
Yeah, so far we're on track, aren't we? Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
mix
we're
it
on
up.
track
Let's
for the
go
main
some,
6.
let's try and chuck in some DC characters in there. Do you know what? I suppose Harley Quinn, she's sort of anti-hero. She's in the Suicide Squad. I think we're allowed to chuck her in there. She'll be the wild card for us. Can we go for King Shark as well? I quite like him. I like this. Basically, so my team is all muscle, basically, so far.
You're all
And
big
a guy who
boys.
can- and lightning. We can flex our muscles and commit lightning, yeah. And I'll probably go for like Mr. Fantastic. That's quite a handy power. That could come in handy.
Pedro Pascal. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. There's something on the top shelf I can't reach. Get Mr. Fantastic.
There we go.
What about you, Jackson?
Yeah, I'll go with Spider-Man. Punisher. Especially the guy from especially Punisher Warzone. That is a fantastic movie. What else? Let's see. Batman for sure. Iron Man. A lot of mine are going to be the normie ones because I'm not a huge superhero person. But what else? What's like an obscure one I might go for?
Beast Boy. Beast Boy.
Beast Boy.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, there you go.
Cyborg. Well, he's part of
I do actually. Cyborg is a good one. I really that was especially
Alfred.
Comparing the Justice League movies. Like Cyborg is like kind of the heart of the of like Zack
Snyder
Snyder's
Cut.
Justice League. So I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think he was my favorite part of Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I mean, like all the best character stuff, they just cut out of the Joss Whedon.
Talking of Snyder, he's got like a 8-hour cut of Rebel Moon coming out tomorrow.
I have heard of this. That's tomorrow.
Oh God.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Wow.
I haven't bothered watching Rebel Moon just
wanna
because
die.
of how bad the reviews have
Because-
been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Apparently,
that's,
it's a lot of slow-mo of rice.
yeah. There's slow mo of a wheat.
Yeah, wheat.
For
Sorry,
like
not
5
rice.
minutes of them just picking up fucking hay bales, and I'm like, I don't know why we needed this. Why?
Like who asked for this?
Yeah, the first cut's 3 hours and 50 something minutes, and then the second cut's like 2 hours and 58. And I'm thinking, I want to. I'm gonna commit arson if they're terrible, because you put in all of that effort into that. Plus, shouldn't the first cut be the director's cut?
Yep. That was what I was just thinking. Surely just get it right the first time and we don't have to do all of this.
He just can't. I mean, he's probably one of the most like undisciplined directors in terms of like being able to cut things. Like he's just like, yeah, everything is essential.
You
I
know,
say this as somebody who likes the Snyder Cut and likes a lot of the stuff that he
I
included.
like the Snyder Cut as well. I know
Yeah.
Leon hates it. but-
Leon hates it. I thought he thought it was like fine. I have to check with him, but
Yeah, I thought he hated it, but
Huh.
he did a long ass review on Letterboxd for it, which I thought he hated it, but I
Hmm.
might be wrong now. But I like the Snyder Cut. Some of it's stupid, of course, but
like there's huge chunks of it I just don't remember. Like it's
Yeah.
it is it's
So
a
long.
lot, and not all of it is essential, like we were talking about.
it's not the cyborg stuff is great though.
Yeah,
when he
and
first flies off,
like
that
the
stuff is
Flash, which
cool.
I hate the movie The Flash, but like the Flash
Yeah.
in Snyder Cut's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the whole what do they call it? The Speed Force scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I really I like the cyborg stuff when he first flies off, and then his dad's doing the voiceover. That was cool. There are things about it I do really, really like.
Well, even on a
Obviously.
technical level, just like the black and white and kind of the
4:3
4:3 aspect ratio, like it really makes what you're watching feel like big. Like it's reminds me of like some of like older like samurai epics and stuff that have like those like more narrow like aspect ratios.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why the 4:3 was supposed to work, but it kind of does at points. It kind of gives it an edge, a different edge to it. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, look at me, I'm more highbrow, and that's fine. You know, I kind of
Yeah.
it's better
love-
than
I
the
love what,
flat-looking bullshit that Marvel's putting out.
Yeah.
You know,
I love what Longlegs did with the aspect ratio, like in the first
Yeah.
scene where it's like really,
Mhm.
really small. And then without spoilers, kind of changes after that. But the transition was pretty effective.
yeah. I definitely like aspects of Rebel Moon, but Zack needs to stop the slow mo. Literally chopping wheat. I can only imagine how. There's a lot of sex in this one apparently in the director's cut. There's a lot of blood, which I don't know how that's going to make a movie better, but you know, there's a lot of just senseless crap, which
Just proves Jackson right. It's so undisciplined, isn't it? It's more blood,
Yeah.
more sex. Yeah.
yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like he did that with Watchmen. I love Watchmen. I think it's one of my favorite superhero films, but Zack Snyder needs to fucking chill.
There's quite a few movies of his I haven't seen just because they're so long. Like,
Yeah.
What was he actually?
how
Dawn.
long is his Dawn of the Dead remake? I haven't seen that.
An hour and something minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
think
like,
that
you
was
can't
actually
really make
okay.
that much longer. Yeah.
Mm.
He's done 18 films, and all of them are over 4 hours. For the sounds of things, he did BVS. The extended cut was 3
Yeah, that's one
hours
of the
long
ones
for
I
that.
haven't seen.
That's
I
a
mean,
long
I heard
one.
it was like it was very
a grower.
divisive, but I
That's a
kind of
grower.
I've heard it's good, like from some people I trust, so I might give it a watch.
I enjoy it. I think it's a grower.
It's a lot better than the unextended cut because it does the bits they do
Yeah.
extend it by. It is important what they give you. It's like, oh, that was actually missing from the first time round. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
the first
vital
time round, I'm like,
context.
I hate Lois Lane's journey with the bullet though. That was stupid. Like,
yeah.
we're gonna experiment on this bullet, and then she goes around the entire fucking world to find out where this bullet came from, that shot, whatever. And it's like, I don't think this matters, bro. You're trying to be political. It doesn't matter. Man of Steel, I kind of like.
I like Man of Steel. Yep.
Watchmen, we've already discussed that. The sex scene is very funny in Watchmen. When they're in the
Oh yeah, I just
the
remember.
Nightbird and they're
The lights come
Hallelujah's playing, yeah. Zack Snyder, 2017 Justice League, technically directed by him. I don't care. 300, I kind of
Haven't seen
like
that.
300.
Yep. I heard the.
Um,
I've seen. Isn't there a clip, or isn't there like a bit in the second one where, which he didn't direct the second one, I don't think, but like Eva Green is like being sexually assaulted like while she's fighting somebody.
Yep.
Like I think I heard about that. I was like,
yeah.
that's an that's
I think that happens in the
choice.
second one actually. I think there's a rape scene in the second one. I don't know if there's actually sexual assault in that one. I don't
I
really
was talking about
remember.
the second one. Yeah, but
It
I haven't
does
seen the second
does
one.
ring a bell. That does ring a bell. I think I remember her getting
Yeah.
groped, if you will, for lack of a better word.
Army of the Dead. I really like Army of the Dead actually.
seen that one.
I think it's pretty fun. It's the one on Netflix for zombies with Dave
Yeah.
Bautista in it.
Oh yeah, actually no, I completely forgot it until you said.
I love
then. Yeah, it is.
Batista, so maybe I would watch that.
They made a prequel to it with the fucking German dude who breaks open banks. Yeah,
Oh
they made
yeah,
a prequel.
yeah, no, you mean now, yeah.
Yeah, the prequel was like what? Sucker
Is that on
Punch.
Netflix?
Apparently, yeah.
That's one
Sucker
that
Punch
Leon
was terrible.
loves. I know Mark Kermode hates Sucker Punch more than like most movies.
Yeah, Sucker Punch is very much feminist propaganda, and there's also some weird sexual tension where Oscar Isaac's character does, and it's like, oof, I don't like that. Rebel Moon Part 1, yeah, piece of shit. Dawn of the Dead is
I need to check that out because
I'm not a fan
I
of
love
it.
all of the George Romero ones, and I've heard that of all of the remakes of those, his Dawn of the Dead is definitely the best.
It's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yes, he did do that, and I've only ever seen it once, but I remember liking it when it came out. It's probably not great, but I remember having fun with that when it came out. It's just got such a bad title. Like, it's such a hard one to remember. It's not the sort of film you go to.
Guardians
next.
of the
I saw a film
Galaxy,
last night
like
called the Legends of Ga'Hoole or something like that. It's like a bit of a mouthful.
the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then there was that DreamWorks movie, Guardians something, Rise of the Guardians. Like,
Rise of the
Oh
Guardians.
yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
makes me think of that, but it's visually cool.
Yeah. I
w-
remember like it's about an owl,
Yeah.
right? Or like
Yeah, I wish
Yeah.
Snyder would make more movies like that. Personally, I wish he would
Yeah.
make more animated movies because I think his style and animation actually really works because you can get away with a lot more with animation.
Yeah, I mean, superhero movies just in general, I think, really lend themselves to animation. Like, I think we've been kind of for the better part of a couple decades, we've been very obsessed with the live action format. But I mean, I think the animated stuff is definitely starting to come back with Spider-Verse. Hopefully some and Ninja Turtles as well did pretty well. So
Ninja Turtles was good, yeah.
I think I don't know if it's coming out this year or when it's coming out, but I think there's meant to be a Lord of the Rings something animated from them as well. I don't know if it's a show
that's
or
got
a
like
movie, but
it's got like an anime style to it, which
it looks stunning from some of the pictures they've put up so far. I'm really excited to see that whenever it comes out.
I think it's War on Rohirrim or something.
Yeah, it's got a subtitle underneath it. Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's a film or if it's a TV show.
It's a film. It's
the
gonna
trailer
be-
for Wild Robot is
It's
so
done.
good.
It is
I
a good
cannot wait
trailer.
for that. Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer, Elliot, for that?
No, I've not even heard of it. Wild Robot. It sounds quite good
Oh,
though.
I heard
beautiful. It
nothing
looks
about
beautiful.
it until like a couple months ago, and then I watched the trailer with Renee's family, and I was blown away. Like it looks like a mostly kind of like silent animation kind of adventure survival story or something. You don't really know that much about it from the trailer, but the animation is just gorgeous. Like it's unlike anything I've seen for a while, for sure.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, I'll
what it
keep my
is.
ear out for that.
It looks really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mark Hamill's in it. Pedro Pascal's in it, so he doesn't sleep. Because Pedro Pascal's in everything. I think he's got like 10 films lined up in the next 2 or 3 years. Like
It's his world. We're living in it.
dude doesn't sleep. I put on Twitter like someone needs to do a welfare check on him because he doesn't sleep.
Did you guys see the short film he was in, the Pedro Almodovar one with Ethan Hawke? like
Yeah.
Strange Way of
Oh.
Life, I think it's called. It might be on Netflix. But
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, it's not one of my favorite Almodovar films, but it's pretty good. It's like, and he's good in it, kind of thing. It's a gay cowboy movie. It's
Yep.
the
Yep.
first one since Brokeback Mountain or something.
Yeah, I can't say that I was a fan of it, but
It's definitely like I mean, I don't know if a premise like that lends itself to a short. Maybe it does, but
Yeah.
it was, and but it had a lot of what I like about Almodovar's films. Like it's kind of like really really thorny. Like the characters are kind of all assholes, but also
oh,
this
yeah,
like
they're very
kind of warm tenderness at the same time. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it's
Mm.
definitely it's it's like 20 minutes. It's like, it's not anything you're gonna be raving
Yeah.
about.
Easy watch.
well, I wouldn't say it was an easy one.
Sorry to ruin the party, lads, but I'm going to have to
Mhm.
make a move if that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no
totally okay,
problem.
man. Yeah.
Thank you for joining
It's
us.
been a
Elliot.
pleasure. Oh, honestly, it's been a pleasure joining you both. I've really enjoyed this, and definitely up for it in the future as well.
Yeah, everybody go subscribe to Elliot IMO Reviews. I'll link his channel in the description after the fact. Definitely go check him out. His reviews are very funny, very great, and very insightful. And he knows what he's fucking talking about. So go follow him, please.
Thank you very much. I try at least.
I don't think I got a
Please
chance to
do
tell
hit
you,
the
by the
like
way.
button.
I never I don't know if I got a chance to tell you last time, but I loved your Beau Travail review video. That was
Oh,
great.
thank you so much. Do you know, funnily enough, I've actually been thinking about that recently because I just did it as a review, and I think I'd like to do like a get my hands dirty and actually at least give my understanding of the film an explanation for it. But I wanted to hold back because I was trying to sort of feel things out, and quite a few people I spoke to actually said they hadn't seen it, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to just blurt it out for you. So I might
maybe
actually
like a
come
video
back to that
essay
one
or
again.
something. That could be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might happen in the future. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Awesome.
But honestly, thank you for having me, lads. And everyone
No
who's
worries.
watching, please do hit the like button, subscribe to Jackson and to Josh as well, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
Great to see
Thanks
you.
again, Elliot. And I'll catch you soon.
No worries. Take care,
See ya.
guys. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And then there were two.
And then number two. I could stay on for a bit if you want to keep chatting, but if you're, whatever you're down for.
I'm planning to go on for another 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes.
So,
That'll work. Yeah.
yeah, because I got work tomorrow, so it's just a matter of
Yeah, I've got dissertation stuff I should do. I hit a big milestone yesterday in terms of writing, and maybe I'll go back to
Nice.
data stuff today, which is anyway.
Anyways, what movie should we talk about now?
Trying to think of like what's like your next big theater watch that you're gonna
Theater watch.
or cinema watch? Yeah.
Alien Romulus.
Okay. Yeah. Is that out now, or is it out like tomorrow? Or...
August 16th.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it's
Or
probably...
did you mean just in general movie watch?
Oh, like going to the cinema is what I meant.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Alien
Yeah.
Romulus. Yeah.
No, fair. Yeah, for me, it's probably Trap. I think it officially comes out tomorrow. But I don't
Has the
remember.
embargo lifted for Trap? Yeah, I kind of want to see.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any reviews for it yet. No, apparently the embargo doesn't drop literally until like the day of, so that's interesting. Yeah, I don't think there's. I'm seeing a couple of reviews here saying it's a mess. M. Night Shyamalan's straightforward cat and mouse thriller needs a tighter pace to successfully execute its vision. Okay. Josh Hunter, deviously good, intense M. Night movie. It seems to be mixed from what I'm seeing.
It's been a while since M. Night's just gotten rave reviews, though. So, like, I mean, God, probably not since his early stuff. Like, I think ever since The Village, it's always been like mediocre to bad reviews for his stuff.
Yeah, but
actually,
I kind of
Split was pretty positive.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like his movies. I like them. Like
Yeah,
Old,
I
people
love it.
hated it. I love Old. I think it's very funny. I kind of want to watch it tonight.
Yeah, there's a few of his I don't like. So I've seen all of his except for Lady in the Water. And
You're in for a treat with that one, I'll tell you.
oh,
They
you've seen
built
it?
that entire complex just for that movie.
Oh wow.
That entire complex, and they had to sell it all after because the movie made nothing.
Yeah, I'm not super looking forward to it. I don't think I'm gonna like it, but
Paul Giamatti does this stuttering thing randomly.
Yeah.
Just goes pop, 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 pop.
The only ones I don't like are Last Airbender, obviously, After Earth, The Happening, and is there another one? I think those might be the only ones.
No.
No, I think everything else he's done is pretty damn good. Like I really like The Visit, which I know a lot of people hate. I think The Visit's a lot of
I
fun.
hate it. I haven't seen The Visit since it first came out. Well,
I think The
haven't
Visit
seen
is
it for,
very
like,
funny.
I haven't seen it since what, like 2018ish. So, got about 6 years now, and I remember hating the fucking tits off that movie. I didn't like it. I was like, this is
Everybody
cringe.
talks about the rapping
Yep.
that the kid does, and like I don't know. It's people could take issue with found footage, but part of why I really liked it is because found footage, for the most part, I think there's maybe a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, I don't really get scared by found footage. Like the aesthetic of it doesn't really work for me in that way. So I kind of like when they just do crazy shit or like try and be funny, and that's what The Visit does. Like I think it's a very funny movie. Yeah. So, and other ones like even early on in his career, I think like The Village, I think a lot of people really didn't like. Have you seen that one?
Which one, sorry?
The Village.
Oh, I haven't seen The Village yet. No.
Yeah, I think I mean, people hate the twist in it. I think the twist is like what makes the movie work, to be honest. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that with M. Night that I defend.
Haven't seen Signs yet.
Signs is amazing. It's actually maybe his most similar film to Knock at the Cabin in a sense, because Knock at the Cabin was a lot about like what it was kind of like people of faith, like what they do in like their most dire kind of apocalyptic circumstances, and that's kind of what Signs is, with like the Mel Gibson character and everything. And yeah, there's some pretty creepy visuals in it. Like
yeah. Yeah,
my favorite's probably Unbreakable, though. That's
Yeah.
That's like, I think, his most like emotional and like well developed like character movie.
I find it that trilogy. I haven't seen Unbreakable yet, but I've seen Split. I didn't even know it was part of a trilogy
because they don't market it that way. I mean, it's like they don't tell you at all until the last scene. So
and then I watched Glass.
Yeah.
Like the end credits scene.
It's interesting to watch Glass, like, or to watch Glass without having seen Unbreakable, because I don't think you'd get as much out of it if you hadn't seen it.
Well, the thing is with the Split end credit scene is it's almost like an end credit scene for a Marvel film. They try and get you to clap at it.
Yeah.
And M. Night knows that.
It's just like, it's just like a what kind of moment, but
But I can imagine them premiering it at Comic-Con and just hearing people shout, "Wow!" Like,
oh yeah. And they kind of managed to be pretty quiet about it in the lead up to Split being released. Like, I don't think that was leaked or anything. Like, yeah.
That was before the internet was actually good. That was when the internet was good and people didn't fucking leak things.
Kinda. I mean, they still, because it was 2016, 2017, right?
2016, yeah.
Yeah, so back then you still had, like, I remember I used to be a fan of The Walking Dead at the time, and you had this, I don't know if you remember, the Spoiling Dead fans was this Facebook page of, like, people literally who would, like, go to the set and, like, spy on the set, release all these details before episodes would come out.
That's just pointless.
Yeah.
It's very pointless.
Yeah.
We have a question saying, what's your dream job?
Interesting.
I've had many dream jobs in the past.
Well, maybe if I'm going the fun direction, maybe I'll just go back and say, like, filmmaker, film critic kind of thing.
I think that's everybody's.
It's a hobby for me. But I, in terms of like what I'm trying to do now, I am trying to build a career in renewable energy policy. So really anything I can do to kind of like help spur the adoption of renewables, I think I would like to do.
That's important, actually. That's a really important job, really.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like renewable resources to make the world better, maybe? Is that
and it's kind of it's like we're all trying to make this big like transition. It's a huge like kind of challenge. And there's a lot of angles to it that I think people forget about, like even just like building new transmission lines and building
Is your like
investing in-
dissertation and your is it
it's
university
related
course?
to
Is
that.
that
It's
more
not-
about the science of it?
It's not about the science. No, it's more about like
Oh,
the
okay.
policy and the regulatory kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. More like the fine print of it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
If you-
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, what about you?
I Paul Hanneman, The Holdovers. Wish I was him.
That would be
No, I'm
great.
joking. I'm joking.
No, but actually, like that
Um,
would be a great, like, well, I mean, like maybe not the best existence, but like to be like that curmudgeon professor, like who studies what is it, like classics? I don't know.
Jeez. Probably something like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. No,
I've
yeah.
always liked
No,
food.
I've got a few friends that are really like passionate young chefs and everything, and it's
I
I
gotta
mean, it's
try.
definitely a hard thing
Might
to pursue. Like you have to really, really like you kind of have to live it. But
Yeah, to be honest, I find it difficult a lot of the time. But
yeah,
I feel like my life feels like Kami from The Bear for a little while. I'm like, all right, I'm depressed. I'm fucking getting over past traumas while also cooking my life away. You know, it kind of feels like that. But at the same time, it's a passion, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. So it's one of those things. But that's a good question, actually.
very good question.
Unbreakable is really good. Type of Science, my favorite M Night. What's my
Yeah,
favorite M
it's-
Night?
Unbreakable is my favorite M Night. My top 3 is that trilogy. I'd probably go Unbreakable, Glass, Split, and then maybe I'd go Signs or The Sixth Sense, one of those. Yeah.
I'd probably say, I guess highest rating. Okay, I gave Split the high rating. I think I gave it a 4. Yeah, I gave it a 4. That's probably my favorite one out of them. I haven't seen Signs, Unbreakable, The Village yet.
Mhm.
I think
That's
I've
another good
seen
one.
Lady in the Water. I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I must have.
Why is
The
why am I blanking?
Happening. I've seen moments. What like the what? No, and then the
The-
beginning scene.
The
Yeah.
Happening is like that stuff's the best part. Well, I don't know. Because there's actually stuff I think is genuinely like kind of creepy in The Happening. Like when people just start throwing themselves off buildings and everything. It kind of what's like isn't it? It didn't Smile kind of do that where people just like spontaneously commit suicide, or am I thinking of something else?
That's Bird Box.
No, well, I haven't seen.
Bird
I haven't
Box
seen
did
Bird Box.
that.
Well, maybe it did. Maybe it did that, but I haven't seen it.
Sarah Paulson fucking drove into a truck, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
or something.
But yeah, no, the Happening is like it's just bizarre. I don't know why he did that.
Tracy says I might have missed it, but you guys seeing Trap? I'm seeing it tomorrow. I will probably see it. I've got a busy couple days coming up, so I won't see it for a little bit. But I'll probably that might be a stream it for me, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll go see it. But
I'll be seeing it. I probably this weekend because my fiance is she's going out of town because I had my bachelor party getaway with my side of the wedding party, and she has her like bachelorette party coming up. So I will be a lonely weekend, but I'll go to the Alamo Draft House and check it out.
well, I need to save money because I'm doing my driving lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got my car sorted, so I need to pay for that and everything. So it's kind of like I'm reserving cinema tickets for actual movies I actually want to see more than others, sort of like Alien Romulus. I'm going to see that, and then go from there really. But I do want to see Trap. It looks very stupid in a good way, and
Maybe I should watch Lady in the Water because that's like in the
Please
next couple.
do.
That's the last. That's the only M Night movie. Well, that's not true actually because I also haven't seen his
that
earlier
movie's
ones.
too long though. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes of nothing.
Yeah. Well, he did Wide Awake. Is that what it is? The one he did before The Sixth Sense. Yeah. Well, it's not very well received from what I know, but I think those are the only two. So maybe I should watch those before I go see Trap.
Yeah, Lady in the Water is very funny though.
Okay, yeah,
it's very
no, I'm-
goofy.
There's
M.
a
Night
great
has a
video
role in
essay.
it.
Do you know the YouTuber Eyebrow Cinema?
I don't think so. Let me.
He's a
let me have
really
look.
really good like Canadian video essayist for films and stuff. But he has a video called like what is it like this might be my masterpiece like comparing Lady in the Water and Inglorious Bastards. And it's actually a really interesting thing about like how like both movies are kind of meta about like filmmaking, and also like they're both like kind of about
Yeah, I see it
egotistical
here.
directors made by egotistical directors, but they go very different directions in terms of quality. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do I need to watch Twister to watch Twisters? No, it's very different. Even though it kind of has hints to the first
Yeah.
one, sort of like with the Dorothy machine. I think that's about the
no,
extent of
it's
it.
completely standalone. You don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're both good though. Like
there's
I
Easter
still
eggs.
like the first one. Yeah,
I think they're on the same. I think the first one's better than Twisters, but they're both on the same level. They're both 4 out of 5
yeah.
for me.
I think I like the second one a little bit more actually, but they're both good for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I think Twisters I kind of felt the length a little bit in certain
I could see that.
parts.
It's kind of
But
repetitive. Like it kind of feels
yes,
like, oh, like the tornado happens and they chase it and something bad happens and then there's this downtime and then they have the tornado and then it just keeps like going over and over
I
again.
kind of
Yeah.
I said to my parents they might as well just call it drivers because they spend most of the time just fucking driving to tornadoes.
Yeah.
Like they drive cars a lot, and I mean a lot. But
Yeah.
I think the first one's better. It's a lot tighter.
Yeah.
But this one's but Twister's stance on environmental changes.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
lot
very subtle about
better.
it. Like it never mentioned, like they never use the word climate change, but
Yeah,
it's kind of,
because
it's very clear, like, why there's a lot more of
Lee
these
Isaac
stickers
Chung didn't
rather
want to
than-
use. He said that he didn't want it to be about climate change per se.
Yeah.
He didn't want to mention it. He knew that it was an underlying theme, but he didn't want it to be necessarily about climate change and more about just tornadoes attacking people, which
Yeah.
is fair.
Yeah.
There are some stupid shit like the device they want to try and get inside the tornado. That's kind of stupid, but again, it's like 90s blockbuster stuff, you know,
They have the same kind of thing, like same kind of like similar like device gimmicks in the
in the
first one,
first
right?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Dollar Food Machine, I think,
mhm.
wasn't it? Seeing it next Friday. I'm seeing Borderlands. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you see Eli Roth's Borderlands?
Oh right, that's what it. Yeah, I was like Eli Roth thing. I
Yeah,
heard he wants to make a Thanksgiving sequel. Like I think he's doing it soon.
I heard that the most interesting thing about Borderlands is that Kate Blanchett said that she only did it because she was bored during COVID and was like, I want to go to work. So she made that. And I'm like, to be honest, that's fair. I don't think she's doing any press tours or any press run for it.
Yeah, I have a friend from high school who she works in LA now. She works for like this. She works for like this research group that's like trying to do more for like diversity in movies. And she actually is like she knows Kate Blanchett basically. Like she's met her several times and like worked for her for like events.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway, she seems like your Hollywood type. Like I don't think she's particularly like on one side or the other of like this is a good or bad person spectrum, but just very like kind of probably
She's got
egotistical.
that elitist attitude. to
Yeah,
her.
yeah, from what I've heard. But
yeah, Meryl Streep gives me that vibe. Meryl Streep gives me the vibe of Nicole Kidman. Angela Bassett's the worst one though. Angela Bassett
that's right. Yeah.
gives me the very like when she was doing an Oscars thing, she was like, and I'm like, you're not that fucking snobby woman. Just on my previous question on theories, I think I heard Shyamalan's movies are in the same universe and interconnected. Do you believe that Trap could do that? That may have been Pixar though.
I don't look at that so literally, but I know what
No.
you mean. I think a lot of his like there are a lot of similarities in his characters, in his kind of like worldview throughout his films. Like I kind of mentioned, like Signs and Knock at the Cabin both have the same thing of like believe it, like faith in sort of like the really dire
Belief
circumstances.
system.
Yeah.
almost.
A lot of his movies are kind of like about characters in very like just kind of tight spaces and difficult circumstances, trying to figure out how
He
to react
hates
to things.
people.
I think
No,
he loves people. Actually, I think he's like a very like kind of optimistic, empathetic person in his films. But obviously he has like the world is scary kind of a view. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting point, to be honest.
I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm so excited to see how Trap's going to fit in, because as soon as I heard, like, I think right after Knock at the Cabin came out, it was announced that his next movie was going to be a thriller at a concert, and I was like, I'm in for that. That sounds great.
And then you see the trailer and he's just walking around, and that's kind of. I want to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Look, I have no Odeon Limitless. I've got to use it as much as I can. I will say that if you do want to cancel it, you have to jump through so many hoops. I've cancelled it before, and it took me like 2 months to cancel it. That's like a AMC.
Yeah. I used to have a similar
Yeah.
thing with my indie theater. I'm thinking actually about getting one for Draft House, because it's like $20 a
Do they
month,
have
I
one?
think, and that's actually pretty cheap for like how much it costs to go to movies now. So
Yeah. And then the last question of the night is Borderlands looks whatever, but the reshoots and changing of director means it will probably be ass. I didn't even know they changed director.
yeah, I know very little about Borderlands. Yeah.
It's got Kevin Hart in it, so you know you're in for a
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be the last comment of the night. Thank you guys so much for commenting tonight. It's been absolutely incredible having your support. And thank you to Elliot for joining. Thank you for Jackson for joining.
Yeah, thank you for having
Um,
me. It's been a while since I've done a live thing, but yeah, this was great. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Don't forget to comment. What am I doing? Why am I doing an outro to my fucking videos? Go subscribe to Jackson. I will link his channel in
Yeah.
the description.
I'm probably going to be doing more live streams on my channel pretty soon. Which
Good,
Josh,
good.
I'm sure I'll invite you to that. But my guess is probably like towards the end of the month, because
Yeah.
my dissertation's due on the 20th. So after that.
Yeah, that'd be good for you to come back.
Yeah.
I miss your live streams. I miss everybody's live streams. Where the
Yeah.
fuck are they gone? Like,
Yeah, people are
they've just-
busy. I don't know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard.
yeah, I miss Pete's live streams.
Yeah,
we used to do them
for
on a
sure.
Wednesday.
Scott.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and keeping us company in this amazing hot night, because I'm sweating buckets. But yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.